Ooh, welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three caballeros, three amigos, three bambinos, three brothers come together to talk about some nerd shit. It's that time of the week, y'all. We're back. It's me, Luis Gonzalez, and of course,
Miguel Sanchez.
And Deadpool.
That's right. We three are here to give you 1, news of the week, 2, feature discussion about Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and 3, what we are into, all in a nice little 1, 2, 3 act. Listen, what do you got to do when you start a play? You don't start at the end. You don't start in the middle. You start at the beginning. And so that's where we are going to start as well, at the beginning. News of the week. What's been happening? We missed out last week, so we have a lot of news to catch up on. But some old news, some new news, just a bunch of different kind of news. First news I want to get out of the table here. James Gunn and Peter Safran are now running DC Studios. All right.
Wow.
Can you believe it? He is now, I don't. Okay, hold on. Let me tap my brakes. I almost went somewhere I didn't want to go to. Oh, my microphone fell. It's
like
crazy.
Went limp all of a sudden.
It did go limp. Anyway, we know James Gunn. He did stuff for Guardians of the Galaxy. He did Peacemaker, Suicide Squad. Peter Safran. He worked with James Wan, American Horror. No, in horror, like Aquaman and Suicide Squad, and worked with James Gunn with Suicide Squad. Anyway, they're going to oversee all DC projects, film and TV, and their current projects lined up. We got Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. There's a Green Lantern series that's looking for a showrunner. And just a side note, Joker 2 will live outside of the Gunverse, and is filming next month. And Batman won't hit theaters till 2025, which I think that also won't be in the Gunverse.
Yeah, it's weird that they said that specifically about Joker, but I didn't hear anything about Batman. It's like, please don't bring him into the DCEU or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thoughts. What does everyone think about that, huh?
What a journey that James Gunn has gone on. You know what I mean? I think it's a bold choice. Did we talk about this? I think I was maybe just talking with Kristen about it, but did you guys hear how apparently before James Gunn got locked in, there was a brief moment where DC tried to have a meeting with Kevin Feige where they were like, "Do you want to run DC?" That might have just been a rumor that I was reading, but I mean,
that man would have been spread out so thin like butter, just completely not even a human anymore. Like, you couldn't run DC and Marvel.
No, I think I have to imagine they were like, "We'll entice you to come run DC and leave Marvel," which I think would have been
a big paycheck.
Oh, come on, Disney. They got the vault, you know what I mean? Like, they got money, you know what I mean? Like, money is no object to them. They're like, Kevin, sit,
and the Kevin. Infinity Stones, literally, with all the studios under their belt. Yeah,
I can't believe I literally thought this was going to be his last superhero movie, that he wasn't going to do anything, and he was going to go back doing his old movies, like Slither and Super, all these other movies. And then he's officially running the DC studios. Like, the man is never leaving superhero movies. He is here to stay.
Dude, that was just our last episode. You were saying that too. Like, that is wild how quickly the world moved on from that.
I was looking forward to a James Gunn movie that wasn't a superhero movie. So it does make me feel a little bit like it's exciting for finally DC, I feel like, to have some direction, but also like I wanted to see him do other stuff that wasn't superhero stuff. And also, is he going to make it all?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be all the Peacemaker?
Look like his movies? Yeah,
exactly. Which has DNA a little bit with Marvel as well. So it's like it's going to be interesting how we can make DC different than that Marvel jovial comedy side that we always get.
Yeah.
I will say,
it's going to be like a dirty comedy. Is that what it is? It's like that. Like, we're dark and we do dirty comedy.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, look, I have faith in him. I know he's great with
extreme violence.
Right. I think he'll do a good job. I just was looking forward to doing like another movie that's not a superhero.
I will say we not necessarily the internet, because the internet would say differently, I'm sure. We're not necessarily like wanting Snyder to come back and like continue or move forward or do anything with his Snyderverse. You know what I mean? I just never expected it was going to be James Gunn. I keep wanting to say Tim Gunn, by the way.
Yeah.
every time I almost say Tim Gunn. He's like, make it work.
I wish he had taken over DC.
That would be interesting. You'd be like, whoa, this is a lot brighter than I expected.
But damn, do they look good.
Batman's in like a pinstripe suit. Yeah. He's got a little ascot.
The whole budget blew on the costumes.
No, I don't know. I will say this. I don't want to be pessimistic. It hasn't happened yet, and it could be really awesome. Yeah. So I will say I was ready for someone else to take over. This is who they say is taking over. Let's go. All right.
I'm not mad about it.
Let's see what you got.
Let's see what we got. Yeah. So obviously Henry Cavill is coming, is returning as Superman. Big news. One thing he won't be returning to is The Witcher. Okay. Say bye-bye to Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was great in The Witcher. Witcher season 3 is coming out. He'll still be in that. So don't say goodbye yet. But season 4, Liam Hemsworth is going to be taking over, which is insane because Henry Cavill totally is the dude for The Witcher. You know what I mean? Like, it's
What's
hard
his
to see. His name is Geralt. Okay.
Geralt. Okay.
That's right.
Of what?
And
of
now
where?
Arivia. Geralt of Rivia.
I was going to say Rivendell or something.
No. Listen, I haven't played The Witcher full all the way through, but this is fun. I started watching The Witcher because I knew nothing about it, and I love jumping into IPs where I know nothing, and then I get to get sucked into the world. You guys should watch. I had a good time with The Witcher, but unfortunately, it is sad. Henry Cavill is leaving. People are saying, "Wow, is it because Superman's going to take up all this time to do that?" And actually, there's been some theories on the internet of what's actually happening. I'm trying to pull up my doc here.
Some possible controversy.
House of the Dragon.
Okay. So Henry Cavill is a huge Witcher fan. He loves the books. He loves the video games. He's a huge nerd. And he said in 2019, he said he lived and breathed The Witcher. And then last year, he said he's committed to the Witcher 7-year plan. And then he was saying he was hoping the next season would be more loyal to the source material. And that he was kind of like the canon guy, the lore Bible on set, saying, oh no, it should be like this. It should be like that. And he'll be like, quote, I think we should use this line from page 253 from Blood of Elves. You know what I mean? So he is putting his input, making sure that this stays in line with the tone. And then a former producer of The Witcher, Bo DeMeo, who is going to run X-Men 97 on Disney+, he said the writer's room actively disliked the books, games, and even mocked the source material. And so people are saying, Henry Cavill was kind of pushing against the writers. They wanted to go this way. They didn't respect the source material. He really did, and he wanted to give it, the right performance. So it's easy to see how a super fan of The Witcher became increasingly disenfranchised with the direction that the series is held in, eventually leading to his exit.
And I mean, it's like what a graceful exit he can make now, because he's like, oh well, I'm Superman and I have to go commit to this performance. I just don't have time. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to say like, I don't like the way it sucks now. You know what I mean? I will say I am not someone who, and I've said this before, I'm not someone who like needs to like live and breathe the source material. I like adaptations. I like risks or making changes here and there, especially if it suits the story. But on this end, on the other side of that coin, right? So they toss a coin, right? I'm making a reference. I'm making a reference to The Witcher there.
I love it.
You don't want someone who's like blatantly like, no, this sucks. This is terrible, and I'm just gonna make it how you're like. Okay, well, that's not exactly the same vibe. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Take risks. You know what I mean? Like, make some changes here and there, but like, you know what I mean?
But you want to say the spirit of the material.
Spirit,
like that's why people are watching it and reading it. They want the spirit. Don't give me a whole new movie.
Exactly. Like I'm all for like when they want to gender swap or change
keep the spirit.
You know what I mean? Just as long as, I feel like that is the character, then let's go. So I think that's interesting that whoever you said, the producer that's going over to X-Men 97 is like, okay, no, you have to like the source material. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to like love it and do every last little, you know what I mean, shot for shot, but like understand it and like live up to its spirit. I like the way you said that, Louis.
Yeah. And I feel maybe Henry Cavill is at a point in his career where he's just like, I'm fucking done with this kind of thing. Like, I feel like Superman was probably a huge disappointment to him overall through those movies, and he was probably. And I mean, hopefully they have something in mind for him that's gonna give him his dues as that character, because I really like him as, I mean, in theory, as Superman, but I don't think that has ever been expressed on screen to a satisfying degree.
I was reading that Henry Cavill, I don't know if he posted it in his, I don't know, on his Instagram, or if someone was just quoting him, but I think I read somewhere that he was like, I'm like actively looking forward to sitting down with James Gunn and seeing what his vision is for these characters, because like, I mean, it's like, he's like, I'm not trying to like jump ship again. You know what I mean? Like, are we going to do this? Like, let's do it, and let's do it right. You know,
it is exciting. I feel like we'll finally get that hopeful, jovial Superman, Clark Kent dynamic that we get. Like, I don't know. Superman is hope. He's supposed to be the light. He's supposed to be, you know, he's a charming dude, and he's like, brings light to everybody he meets. You know, well, you guys don't think so? What's happening? You're just staring at me.
I was letting you go, baby. I was like, yeah, man, say it from your chest. Like, let's hear it.
Look, I know we're trying to go in the dark side of DC, but he still has to have hope and light.
Exactly 100%. I think that was one of the problems with, you know what I mean, was DC being like anti-Marvel, was taking all of these characters and making them all these like dark, twisted whatevers. And it's like, yeah, there has to be a balance. You have to have that good balance. So, like I said, I wasn't necessarily expecting James Gunn. Let's see what he does. Yeah. Maybe we're going to get something good. We can talk about this all night. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, I'm actually thinking of what you think about this, Miguel. Really, this in for you. You know, yes, baby, let's go.
You know, there's a lot of drama. Elon Musk obviously bought Twitter. That was a whole shebang. First, he wanted to buy it. Then he says, no, I don't want to buy it because there's a bunch of bots. And they're like, no, contractually, we have to keep going.
Then he had to.
And then he had to buy it. And then he was like, he got there. He was like, hello, everybody. You're all fired. And he was firing people, firing CEO, top execs. He was at an investor meeting, and he said he was going to plan to cut 75% of the staff. And then he was like, no, no, I'm not going to do that at all. Anyway, it's a lot of like strange back and forth. Even more so, he is like cutting costs, and he's trying to really make Twitter a place where you spend money. So if you have a blue verified check, he said, if you have a blue verified check, you have to spend $20 every month to keep it, and you have 90 days to comply. And my tech team, hey, you, if you don't get this done in 3 weeks, you're all fired. So he's just like bullying everybody. And then Stephen King responded back. Let's see, what did he say? He said, fuck, $20 a month to keep my blue check? Fuck that. They should pay me. If that gets instituted, I'm gone like Enron. And then Elon responds, we need to pay the bill somehow. Twitter cannot rely entirely on advertisers. How about $8? And that's what happened. The story went that it was going to be $20 a month, and now it's $8 a month. And then he wants to bring back Vine. And then today he wants to put a paywall on video. So say you're going down the feed and you see a video, you have to pay like $1, $2 to see it.
Okay, I will
and
say
they have
this.
such a short amount of time to get it verified too. Like,
listen. So in the couple of days after Elon took over, and I'm gonna try to touch on everything you just mentioned. Okay, Luis and Ed, of course, you can feel free to jump in too, because I know you.
I tweet.
Ed's like, I'm just gonna sit back and be pretty. Yeah. Looking so goddamn handsome this episode. I see you, bro.
I'll just like.
Yeah, blue steal it. No, okay. So many things. First off, I hadn't heard about the video paywall until just now, Luis. So what I was going to say a second ago was in just a couple of days, this last week, so many people were like, I'm leaving Twitter. And I thought that was performative. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know how many times over the years I've said I was going to delete my Twitter and then like reactivated it before the time ran out? You know, it's like
funny you say that.
You know
it's funny you say that because I signed up for a co-host account. Have you heard about this? Someone at work was like, "Who's jumping off board and going on co-host?" And I was like, "Oh, is co-host the new social media?"
That's the new like
And so then if you looked at our Gmail like notifications, like welcome to co-host, I was like, oh, I'm gonna jump on this real quick. I don't want people taking my name at Punch Drunk Nerd. Co-host at Punch Drunk Nerd.
Good idea.
Yeah, so I snag it if it ever becomes a thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
I mean, and I'm all about trying something
yeah.
new. But no, I mean, I was like, okay, whatever. Like Elon took over. Nothing that drastic is going to change. And then I was sitting there thinking like, okay, so we're talking about the subscription service for the blue check mark. It's like a lot of the people I follow don't even like meme accounts, you know what I mean? That are just like, I'm like laughing at. They don't have like blue check marks. So like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like Twitter really is like for the people. And I know that's what Elon's like trying to say now, but I just always felt like Twitter was where you got like the general pulse of the conversation. You know what I mean?
People die for blue checks though. People I know here in LA, they'd be like, I'm trying to get that blue check.
Now that's what I'm talking about, because I definitely saw a couple of posts where these people were like, I worked hard for my blue check. This one guy was like, I've been on MTV for 7 years and I didn't work this hard to be blah, 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 blah. And someone was like, who are you? And I was like, yes, like who, like there is a bit of vanity. There is a bit of vanity there. So Absolutely. It's like, if those people are getting fucked over, I'm like, I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I thought it was wild how many people were coming up with suggestions. Well, there should be a tiered system. Like journalists have to be verified because they're putting out like they're breaking news and it's like verified information and they should pay less, which I thought was wild. And someone else should pay more. And I was like, no one should be paying at all. Like the running joke on Twitter forever has been like, you'll see someone say, I can't believe this site is free. Because it'll be a comment under some dumbass tweet or video that's hilarious. And someone's like, hey, be careful because eventually it's not going to be free. You're like wishing this shit to happen. And then, of course, Elon takes over and it's like, but no, all that to say is like blue check marks. I don't care. You know what I mean? You have them, you don't have them. I know that counts for some people. They'll make it work if they want to really keep it. The idea that I would have to pay to watch a video on Twitter where I watch a lot of my videos, like my bullshit dumb videos, that's wild. And it not being performative, I would totally leave for that. Like that is not the social media that I'm a part of.
We're recording November 2nd and it seems like it's ever evolving. Things could change. I mean, from what I've read is that there's such a tight turnaround that the people who are making, they're like, there's some legal issues you could run into, you know, like just for people paying for content this way now. There's all these like things that we're not even considering that could be problematic. I didn't even have time to read the whole thing, but it just happened. But yeah,
you're right. It is moving quickly. So
back and forth, whiplashing. It's a whiplash.
That's kind of the thing about Elon Musk. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about bullying earlier, and it's like, yeah, that's just kind of seems like what's going on. It's like whatever he wakes up that day and says he expects to get, and it's like, well, that's a billionaire. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just change their ways. Ed, real quick. I know this is silly.
No, I'm not saying at that. I'm saying at him, Elon.
Ed, real quick though, I've been trying to get you on Twitter for years. Yeah. Years.
I told you.
even I went as far as one point is I made an account for you.
Yeah, you did.
Do you remember this?
I did.
And you deleted it almost immediately.
Yeah. I wasn't having it. I was just like, I kept telling him, much like changing the phone, I was just like, you don't have to even get on it all that much. You don't even have to tweet. Just like get on Twitter. I'm serious when I say like Twitter is kind of like the pulse, you know what I mean, of the internet. You know what I mean? Like you Reddit, the Reddit logo or not logo, catchphrase or whatever was like the front page of the internet for the longest time. But I really do feel like that's what Twitter is. Like you are going
more than Reddit.
I think so. Yeah. Like, because you're going to get such a vast range of opinions, and they're all going to be reacting to the same thing, like live in the moment.
Well, I think that's my problem with Twitter is that's really all it is people reacting to things. And I'm not saying that's not the case with Reddit, but you don't have to read all the comments that people are saying about things on Reddit. You can just look at a thing. A lot of those things are tweets. You know, I'm not going to lie.
Real quick. Oh, that's true. That's true because Reddit does a lot of like Twitter screenshots. Yeah. Now, when I text you guys Twitter links all the time. Ed, what's your thought when I send you those?
I'm just like, oh, great. Well, now I have to click on it, and it will eventually open up on my Safari on my phone. But It takes a minute. It will open up to
It heats
the
up.
Punch Drunk Nerd feed, and then give it a second, and then it'll roll over to the actual post that you sent me.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's not a good thing.
That 6S is working hard.
Yeah. It starts getting hot in my head.
Yes, dude. Yes. Okay, well, I'll try to stop doing. I'll try to find that exact same tweet on Reddit, and I'll just send you the Reddit link. Okay.
No, I always appreciate being given a glimpse into your world, Miguel. So you keep sending those Twitter videos until you have to start paying for them, and then I really will stop. I mean, I thought that was so wild. Like, I was even thinking, like, for us for a second, like, let's say in a world where we get popular enough that we can get a check mark on whatever social media, like, would we pay $8 to $20 a month for that? I mean, that seems like no. Right.
Yeah. I don't really care. Like, we're the same people. Go to @PunchDrunkNerd on Twitter. We're the same.
Could you?
Because our faces are here.
Could you, like, take for your profile picture? I don't know what people do for their profiles on Twitter, but
No, go on.
You do a
Pontificate.
profile picture, but then just like edit in a little check mark on the top of your picture, and it's just like, yeah, I'm official.
No.
No, you can't do that.
No, that's not where the. Do you? Just out of curiosity, is that where you think the blue check mark
It's
is?
on the
Is in
outside next
profile?
to the name, right?
It is next to the name. Okay, that's good.
Well,
That's good.
well,
That's
they have
good.
a similar thing on Instagram for celebrities and stuff like that.
I was just trying to think of what is the verification for Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I guess it's the follower count. When you get on there and you see that they have, like, Kylie Jenner has, you know what I mean, like 39 million followers. You're like, okay, that's probably the real one. You know?
It has a blue check mark next to it too.
It has a check mark too.
It has a blue check mark. But it's
I don't jump on Instagram to follow celebrities. You know what I mean? Like Twitter, maybe a little bit more so, but Instagram, no. I'm like,
you don't follow celebrities on Instagram?
I mean, maybe a couple that I'm
I like nice ones.
Every time I'm into a show, I'm like, I like that person. Follow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good actor. to follow.
see me when I'm watching reality TV shows like F-Boy Island, Ed.
Yeah.
I'll follow them immediately. I'm like,
On Instagram.
That's hilarious.
Let me see some trashy ass people in
Because
real life
they're real
too.
people,
And they're so
yeah.
much more chill.
Because the story
Exactly,
continues.
because they're real people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's hilarious.
No, as far as like celebrities, like, no, if they've got like think about like Ariana Grande, no shade to her or anything, but like, or whoever
Well,
is
she's
like
too big of a
Cristiano
celebrity.
Ronaldo or whoever has like the most followers on Instagram, you know what I mean? I don't need to follow them. Like, I'll see their posts when they're important.
Sure.
They'll trend on
news.
Twitter.
I get
you know
that.
what I mean? And
Right.
that's
Yeah,
where I'll see
well,
it.
Right.
to Luis's point, and this is just for example, like I started following a couple of people from House of the Dragon, and they posted like a lot of fun and cool behind the scenes pictures. Everybody in costume, but they're like eating French fries and stuff like that. I don't know, just.
That's
Which
cool.
now that I'm saying, but no, I mean, it's when you're nerdy like us, we enjoy shit like that. I love
wanna
seeing,
see that,
I
yeah.
love
Yeah.
seeing like candid shots behind the scenes of movies and TV, and I'm sure whilst they were on set during filming, they had to be very hush hush and quiet about it. So now that the show's coming out, they're like. After each episode, they're releasing these new pictures from that episode, and you've got like Paddy Constantine looking all fucked up, but they're having a great time. So,
But they're like,
yeah, exactly.
acting. Let me ask you guys this. Yeah, and if you have three, great. If not, just like however many you have. Top three in order social medias that you jump on your phone. I'm just curious. What are they?
Does Reddit count as a social media?
Yeah. Reddit counts.
It's going to be Reddit, Instagram, TikTok.
In that order, like 1, 2, 3, in that order.
Yeah, in that order. Reddit, Instagram, TikTok.
Reddit, Instagram, TikTok. Ed, what about you?
Mine is Reddit and Instagram, and it stops right there. I don't have a third.
That's okay.
Yeah,
You're still on Facebook, but I don't think you ever check it.
No, I'd never check it. I have Messenger,
know.
and the only message group I talk to is my family in England. And they don't respond to me, so and it's okay if they're not listening to this podcast either.
Get Zuckerberg on the phone. What is going on? No, I would say, I mean, like easily Twitter, Instagram, Reddit. Like I have them in a row on my phone next to each other. You know what I mean? And like I'll jump on TikTok for our account. You know what I mean?
Letterboxd,
and like
that's a social.
I sent you.
Oh,
yeah, it's Letterboxd. Yeah.
I'm
That's a good one
I'm
for
not.
you, Ed.
I'm not a regular on there, but I do after every movie. You best believe I'm on there rating a movie. So
we should all. Yeah.
I've got like a couple of not a couple of thousand. I'm over 1,000 movies.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
I said
followers. I was about to be like, dang, Ed.
We held our breath, Miguel. We're like,
I was like, say it.
Oh, I wish you guys
I'm
would
a
get
bit of an
excited about the
influencer on
movies.
Letterboxd.
Anyway,
Dang, no, I was like, yeah, Ed, go ahead. Live your life. Live your whole life that no one knows about.
you're making me look though to see how many followers I do have. Oh man, how do you even look that up? I don't know.
We should do a podcast.
I don't know. I don't have a
collective.
letterbox. I know what it is, but I don't remember.
We should make a collective one.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should
podcast
absolutely.
So Miguel does that with Twitter. I actually love when you send tweets because I feel like me and Twitter haven't connected yet. Like I haven't really locked in. I get it. I just haven't. I don't know. But I do that with TikToks. I send them to you a lot on our chat. You send tweets. I send
do.
TikToks.
Yeah.
I send a lot, sometimes back to back, and I like, okay, you gotta hold back a little bit. It's too much.
Well, because of our social media, I downloaded the TikTok app again,
Yeah.
and like initially it was tough when it was just me because it was like, oh, okay, now it's like kind of like Ed, it's going to open up in a web page and it's going to take me a minute to get it loaded. Right. But now it's like, okay, it'll pop up right in the app, and it's seamless. Excuse me, sorry. Woo. I'm getting hot just thinking about all these social medias. I can't believe how charged up I am thinking about all of these. I was going to ask one more question. Oh, fuck it. I can't even remember. But I will say this. You mentioned the one good thing that you mentioned about Elon Musk just now a few minutes ago was possibly bringing back Vine. Like, yes. I like TikTok. Like, TikTok obviously serves its purpose. But, man, I miss Vine. Vine was, like, too. Good.
I know. It was really good.
But Elon would be like, let's make it 20 seconds or something like that. And he'd be like, no, there was something fun about it being 6.
You could pay more money to have more seconds in your Vine. How about that?
And you know he would too.
Ugh, it's going to be a bastardized version of the Vine.
God, it wouldn't be good. And that's the thing I hate the most is like, that can't be the thing that's like the breadcrumb that like pulls me in.
Yeah.
No.
TikTok's, listen, Instagram is developing. It's interesting as we do this, but Instagram is developing its own real culture. But I still feel like sometimes Instagram is slow to TikTok trends. You know, TikTok will set it, and then Instagram comes in later, and then it's Facebook, and so people will send it to them like, I've seen that.
Instagram is slow to me compared to Reddit. Like Sarah will send me something on Instagram a couple of days after I already saw it on Reddit. I'm just like, bitch, I already laughed at this. I just. Instagram is slow to the punch.
Do you ever go back and rewatch content that you've liked, sometimes you can? So it's good on TikTok.
The time,
because TikTok is so easy. I heart it and automatically goes to a thing. If I heart Instagram, I can't find my hearts, and I have to save it.
You have to save it,
and it's a lot of effort.
You
have
to press like 3 buttons to get there.
And TikTok is like boom, like, and then one day I was just like, oh, let me look at all my likes, and then I start from the beginning, and it's a whole journey of like trends that I've lived through.
Whenever I send it in a message that on Instagram, that's where I'll revisit it the most and be like, okay, was it funny or was I just drunk when I sent it? You know what I mean? Like, my wife, she has kind of like gotten all off of social media. She very rarely gets on. She used to be kind of like, even when she was like taking a break from all social media, she would still be like on Instagram, and I could send her a video here and there, and that would be that. We'd have a good time. Now I'll send her a video. I'll send her another video. I'll send her another video over like weeks. I'll send her just as they come up, and I'll be like, hey, did you ever watch that video? And she'll be like, no. And then we'll go to her messages, and it'll be like 32 videos over the last month, and you
could binge them now.
Dive in, bitch. Let's go.
It is fun. I do get that.
I don't call her bitch.
I miss like a couple, like 3, and then like little boop boop boop, quick little hits of like
you got something, and they're always hilarious. That's what I like.
It's always really good. I'm always like,
Ed's always sending me meat.
I'm sending you
memes.
Meat.
Oh, meat.
That is Instagram. Yes, back and forth. So it's like, hey man, look at this burrito.
oh, what about this steak? You're like, yeah, that does look good.
It. I probably never will, but yeah, all right. And then the occasional laugh, funny.
I'm sure there's steak talk. You know what I mean? Beef talk.
Beef talk.
Beef talk.
It's like once you get on the TikTok algorithm of just beef.
Just beef. No pork, no chicken.
I am honestly blown away how long we've talked about social media just now. That, like, I'm gonna ride this wave, dude. This was when I send you guys links from now on, I'm gonna be proud as fuck. I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, look at this fucking link.
I love the links we get. It's so nice.
I'll send you 7 in a day, and I'll feel bad on the 6th one.
Absolutely.
But on the 7th one, I'll be like, but wait, there's more.
Just one more. One more, I'm done. Because you're really just telling yourself, okay, I need to get off my phone and get back to work.
I gotta get off my phone.
I've gotta,
I have to leave this
same thing. Yeah.
So what did Twitter think about Rihanna's new song for Wakanda Forever?
Oh, she trended immediately just off the word that she was maybe gonna release a song. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Dude, that was pretty hyped. But I was surprised. As much as I like Rihanna and we love Rihanna in this house.
Oh yeah.
You didn't like
there was someone else on this podcast that was way more hyped.
It was me.
Ed Wall.
It was me. No, I was like, I'm just kidding.
Ed, read what you wrote. Ed, read what you wrote about this.
Read what you wrote. What?
On the notes?
You had thought?
Yeah, you got them right in front of you.
Yeah. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, that's
right. Wait, do it in front of the camera. Do it in front of the camera so we get another shot of it. Where it's like, there it is.
Get that tap. All right, and news today. Rihanna, Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, Protector of the Realm, Empress of the Moon and Stars, releasing a first new song in 6 years for Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Wow.
And it's so titled Lift Me Up. And, man, it's very sweet. It's very... Do you guys not think so? Do you think it...
Yeah, no, I need to...
It's a very simple, straightforward song.
It's sweet and respectful.
Very respectful, you know almost like a lullaby. But like those opening notes of her like kind of humming the song in, man, I can only like imagine how much I'm going to cry watching this movie purely because of just the atmosphere surrounding it. And like I'm starting to realize that this movie is kind of it's going to give Chadwick an on-screen funeral.
Yeah,
that's why
there's going to be a lot of catharsis going along with that, and just like I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep my shit together. Unlikely, but yeah, this is like it's almost it's like melancholy and sweet, a little hopeful, you know, and you can only imagine the tone that it sets for whatever is about to happen in this movie. You know, whatever conflict. Hearing that at the end of it is going to be very interesting. I don't know.
So I listened to it. I watched the. She has a music video for it on YouTube.
I haven't seen
really?
that.
And
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's real simple. She's like standing on a beach and she sings the song like while she's on the beach.
Okay.
Does she roll in the water a little bit?
I think no.
That wouldn't be respectful, Ed. On this video.
Yeah. That's not the vibe. I will say this. It is going to be tough to follow the Black Panther album that came out, that Kendrick Lamar put out for the first movie. You know what I mean? Rihanna is super talented. I think everyone's excited that she's back. I know that she's talking about touring again next year. I'm already trying to get tickets. Like, let's fucking go. I was a little cold on this song only because maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace when it came out. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was maybe thinking initially
like a magnum opus.
It was gonna be like Kendrick Lamar and SZA did that song, the end credits song for Black Panther, where it was like very poppy, very mainstream sound. Yeah. I kind of thought, oh, she's doing like the song for the movie, and then it became clear, like, oh, this is like maybe what's going on during like the funeral or
tonally,
or just like that like tonally of what's going on in the movie. So it was maybe a little unexpected, but no. I think Ed, which we're talking about, seeing it in the theaters is probably going to fuck me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you hear those notes as soon as the credits roll, man, yeah, I don't know.
If it happens in a scene, it'd be even more intense.
I imagine it's during his memorial is when that's going to play.
All right, bets right now. I'm saying end credits. I don't think we'll hear the I don't think we'll hear the song during the movie. No.
Okay.
I want to hear it in the movie. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. I'm afraid.
Yeah. Do you like it, Luis?
I feel like they're just. Do I? Yeah. No. Everything you guys are saying, I'm like, yes. Yes. Yeah. I think it's a sweet, respectful, and I'm excited to see it in the movie. It's definitely not like that has the energy that it did in the first album. But also, it's a different movie,
yeah,
and it's a different tone. It's like
absolutely.
You kind of can't do that, but she does a really good job of what needed to be done here. And I will agree with you too, Miguel. Like, it's gonna take me a couple more listens. It wasn't like.
Well, you got me thinking about it. It's also the first song she's released in 6 years. Maybe it doesn't need to be the Rihanna of old or whatever. Absolutely. Yeah, like this is like almost in a way a reintroduction to Rihanna.
It's like Adele's 30, 25, whatever. Like, she's a mum. Yeah. Rihanna is a mum now. Like,
this era of Rihanna. Yeah, absolutely. So, and this is the start of it.
Yeah. And I think, the song, like I said, is very simple. It's almost like, it's kind of like almost nurturing to the audience. You know what I mean? It's like everybody, we all felt something when Chadwick Boseman died, and this is kind of like that warm hug at the end of the movie when the credits roll.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Lily really liked this song too, for what it's worth. My daughter.
Aww.
Yeah. I told her a sneaky, like, oh, she's a queen, singing this song. And so now she's like, Rihanna's a queen. So there you go, royalty.
You're good. No, she is a queen. She's amazing.
She is, though. She is.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for more Rihanna songs to come out now.
Like I said previously, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is my, like, top MCU Phase 4 movie that I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Like, Spider-Man was great. All those were good.
Eternals.
Whatever. This is and we're gonna talk about trailers in a minute. And I just want you to know, when I was looking up Eternal Daughter, that's the name of the movie, right? It didn't even come up. It was just like a list of all things Eternal, and at the top was Eternals. They were like, "You want to watch this trailer?" And I was like, "Ed does."
Yep, probably did. But
I'll go back and watch that one too. But I very much looking forward to this one, and I'm sure Rihanna is gonna tug at the heartstrings.
Already did.
Whenever she sings this song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man. I mean, that's it. We got some quick news here. Mr. Reporter here. You got any quick news for me?
Rihanna's gonna maybe bust some hearts.
Oh God.
That's not the only thing busting out.
Good one.
You guys, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? There's a new Lego Hulkbuster coming out. Ed, a new Lego. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I put this on there.
I don't know why I thought it was Luis.
No, I put it on for you guys because, Miguel, though I realize you don't care for Lego, I think you appreciate some of their designs, and you do use some Iron Man.
I'll give you this. I do love Iron Man, and I did like the Hulkbuster scene in Avengers Age of Ultron.
Yep.
I tell you what, though, on November 9th, I am not spending $549.
It's a lot of money.
That is
for 4,049 pieces. You can't see me right now, but I'm grabbing my nuts because you can suck them if you think that I'm spending that much money on some Lego. I want like a little Lego. I want like somewhere behind me like 3 little Lego pieces.
Yeah.
That like you can interpret as a character. I'm not doing it. And I tell you what, before you even ask me, I'll counter with this. I'll build a Lego when you get that new iPhone. Okay, bud?
Oh, all right. So it'll be a while.
I'm expecting it to.
I will die on that hill. But no, what I was going to ask was, or what I was just going to say.
Go ahead. I'm joking.
Man, the last couple of times they've come up with a new release that really perked my interest. With these Lego releases, every time I scroll down to the fucking price, I die a little inside.
That's a lot of money.
Like, even for this set, they just recently came out with a Lego castle, which I'm here for. I love me a Lego castle. And it's like harkening back to the classic castle designs. But, man, that shit was $350. I was like, no.
But think about that. Think about that for a second. A whole castle, however big it is, okay, for $350, you're like, okay, like if this is my thing, if I collect, you know what I mean, if I can maybe spend that. And then you jump up to $550 for just like a statue. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, okay, let's get into it though, real quick. I did put some notes on it. So the reason why this is like such a big sell is it's one of the tallest standing Lego builds at 21 inches, which if you that's a lot. If you put them on a table, familiar. Yeah, 21 because of my dick. When
I put it on the table, baby, they know.
Boom. It comes with a Tony Stark minifig. But it's introducing some exclusive, quote unquote, new pieces, like new gold and glow in the dark pieces, which they've had glow in the dark pieces before, but maybe, specifically for the arc reactors, they've got light up bricks as well. So really, it's just like the size and the scope of this thing, and like I get
that. I mean, it's a spectacle.
I absolutely agree that $550 is a lot, and I can only imagine that a lot of. I mean, like me, I'm not like one of these people in fucking Lego. I will say Lego has one of the best reward programs around, but they also, you have to actually buy some of these big fucking sets in order to get those rewards, and it's damn pricey. You know, I'm not gonna lie.
Let me ask: did you guys ever do those Bionicles?
No.
You know what I mean, like in the early 2000s.
No, I hated the Bionicles.
Oh man,
it's just my flavor. Not my flavor of Lego.
I feel bad for bringing it up.
No, that's all right. Hate is a strong word. I just didn't care for them.
I definitely thought those were cool. Yeah. I when I was a kid, I thought like action figures, you know what I mean? Those were like my favorite toys. And so the fact that you could like build an action figure, I liked that. I think I had like 3 of them. I had the lava one, the ice one, and I think there was like a forest one. I think I had that one too. And that was really the end of my Lego days. I didn't do
the beginning and the end. I remember getting a Bionicle for one of my birthdays, and of course I built it. But the thing is,
but you were kind of sad.
Well, they just didn't match with any of my other Legos. It's like I'm over here with pirates and castles.
It was like Lego was fighting with Connects or whatever. You guys remember those?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they were like, this is that,
right?
And it wasn't Lego.
And Transformers in a way too. You wanted maneuverability that weren't just like blocks.
Just couldn't get it.
Oh well.
Well, listen, $549. Not for me, but if you, listener, buy this new Lego Hulkbuster, tag us in the photo when you build it. Okay, we want to see it at Punch Drunk Nerd.
Indeed. Luis, how are you?
And you know what?
I just bought some Legos just now.
Did you really?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I did.
Put the receipt on screen right now. Black out the payment info.
I can't.
Man, please tell me you're getting it on the Lego shop though. Don't get it on Amazon.
If you're gonna do it, at least give Ed the rewards.
Yeah, but on Amazon,
that is a thought.
Payments.
Sure, you can make payments, but you also probably are paying more.
No, it's the same price.
Are you sure?
Let me look at it again. Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper.
Well, what set did you get?
In post, put it on the screen. Huh? We want to see what you bought, but don't tell us yet. We gotta watch.
Son of a bitch.
Oh yeah,
gotta watch at
views, baby.
Punch Drunk Nerd on YouTube.
What do we got going on here? Oh, that's a notification about what I just bought. Okay.
It's scary. It's scary how much money people will spend on Lego Luis,
Yeah.
anything else? That's
Oh
Scary.
yeah, you know what's scary? God, you know what's scary is Men in Masks, specifically the guy from Friday the 13th, right? Listen, they're going to
Jason.
make a prequel to Jason. Yes, Jason Voorhees, right? They're
Yeah.
making a
No,
prequel.
Born.
Jason Bourne. My God, it's Jason Bourne.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne. Friday the 13th is having a series called Crystal Lake on Peacock. You know what? I got to give it to Peacock. They are continuing to add stuff to their programming. They're having Crystal Lake. It's going to be from Brian Fuller and A24 working together. Look, we're entering into casting corner. Ding dong. Who got cast in what? Penguin cast Kristen Milotti as female lead for Sophia Falcone.
Ooh.
She was in that movie. What's it called?
Yeah, did you think about that, Ed?
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a fascinating character to see because in the Batman they reveal that Selena Kyle is hey, how's it going? Selena Kyle is Falcone's daughter, like illegitimate daughter or whatever. And so I think this will be a very interesting angle that they play with actually bringing in his like I don't want to whatever true-born daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
And especially when she was such a pivotal character in the Long Halloween series for Batman.
That's very interesting because in the comics, she's a rather large person, like kind of foreboding build.
Well,
Well,
that I was gonna say that could be like the art style, right? Like that's like an interpretation of those characters.
sure. Well, yeah, maybe. If we're basing it on the comics, yeah. But I will say, yes, Bat is a character that I have really wanted to see on the big screen because, again, at least in the comics, she's like a menacing character. So it'll be cool to see how she does. Like Dark Victory, that character is really cool. And I always thought that, like, if they were making more Batman movies, like dark ones, throughout the rest of the 90s, like Angelica Houston should have played her or something like that.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a solid casting choice. In a different universe, Ed,
Different universe.
You just made $1 billion.
I know, right?
You know what I mean? That's a pretty solid casting choice.
But yeah, no. I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with this world. I know Warner Brothers obviously made that deal with the director, who I'm blanking on right now, for the Batman.
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
So
he's not that director. Okay, he's the director.
Well, apparently James Gunn is the director of DC now. So, but yeah. I'm here for it, I guess. I liked her in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
I don't remember much else that she was
It's
in.
going to be great.
Word.
Go ahead.
Also, I realized I might have said Geralt. It's Geralt.
Yeah.
No, you
For
said
Witcher.
Geralt.
I
You said
did?
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
had like a
But I
panic
love
attack.
that this many minutes later, you were like, let me go back to The Witcher.
Let
for
me
a
make sure I
second."
said it right. So, Yahya Abdul Mateen is joining Wonder Man. I believe he's playing the lead of Wonder Man. Was seen in Aquaman. He was forgot his name.
Dude, he was also in The Watchmen. You know what I mean? He was in Aquaman.
bad.
He was not the Submariner. That's Namor.
Oh my god!
He had a
I
fish
just don't
tank.
know much about Aquaman, to be honest. There's a
No,
character
no.
called Wacky Man. Come on.
But it's wild that this is like his third foray into the superhero universe. And I mean, you think about a few years back, like you remember when
Black
Chris
Manta.
Evans went from Black Manta. That's right.
Yeah.
Think about when Chris Evans went from the Human Torch to Captain America. And that was kind of like, whoa.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
you can be another superhero. Like that's kind of double dipping. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. And now it's just like that is like the economy of Hollywood is superhero movies.
There's
and
too
it's
many of
like,
them. You need a double dip.
if you went into one and you didn't super love it, who gives a fuck? Because you can always do another one.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty good actor. I can't remember if you guys watched. I know Ed watched Watchmen.
Yeah.
And I thought he was really good in that character. So I like him. I don't know much about Wonder Man, but
Wonderman.
I thought he was supposed to be. He's like a bombastic celebrity character. So I guess that's the type of character.
Fun.
Okay. I do kind of feel like even though, and am I saying this right?
Yeah. Abdul Mateen.
I apologize.
I
Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like he's still like he's one of those actors who is like, oh, he's big enough, but he still hasn't found like the thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like
and
people acknowledge he's a good actor
because he is.
Yeah, no, he absolutely is. But yeah, you're right. He needs that like central leading role that's just going to blow everybody out of the water.
That like the masses will migrate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I don't think we've quite found it yet, although he has put in a lot of really good work.
Yeah,
so maybe it's Wonder Man, or maybe this is just the key that unlocks the door, you know. So keep at it. Let's see what he does.
Finally, in casting corner, Lupita Nyong'o is in Quiet Place Day One. It is a not a threequel, but a spinoff. It's directed and written by Pig Helmer Michael Saronsky. John Krasinski is hoping to set a Quiet Place universe that the studio can build on. It's set for March 8th, 2024. Won't have Emily Blunt or John Krasinski in it. And then the third film of The Quiet Place is set with John Krasinski directing and coming out in 2025.
Oh, so this is not the third movie, but the third movie will happen.
Yes, this is like a spinoff.
Okay.
That's why he wants to build the Quiet Place universe.
Got it. Did you guys see the second one by any chance?
No, not yet.
I didn't.
That was one of the first things when I signed up for Peacock. I'm pretty sure it's on Peacock. That I was like, oh, I'm going to watch that. And then it just never happened. But I think maybe this is the year. I'm going to get ready. Yeah.
2022.
I'm gonna cap it off with a Quiet Place marathon.
There you go.
And then finally, Tiki, it's trailer time. We're all gonna go around and talk about certain trailers. I'm gonna pass the torch to one Miguel.
Sure. And I want to hear everyone's opinion.
Absolutely.
We don't necessarily. This wasn't like I was like. And by the way, I meant to say this earlier in the text. I felt really bad when I was talking about like let's kind of divvy up the trailers or whatever. And I was like, I'll just take Avatar. I totally didn't even realize that the Avatar trailer came out today when we were talking about this. I thought this was like a trailer from last week that I just hadn't watched yet, and I was like, oh, I need to catch up on it. Oh, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about Avatar. It's a good one. And then when I actually watched a trailer, it was like released 6 hours ago, 1.5 million views. I was like, oh shit. Okay, I didn't realize it was today.
It's fresh.
I listen. I feel like maybe I'm the resident Avatar guy. Okay. Yeah. I kind of liked the first one. I had a good time at Disney World. I've said this before. I told my wife today when we were watching the trailer at home, I was like, I think we're gonna go see this movie. Like me and her. Like I know we're talking about doing it too. Listen. I wasn't necessarily on board saying that, oh, we super need Avatar sequels. But then I watched this trailer today and I was like, I'd watch this movie. I thought, especially the music, as it like swells at the end of the trailer is phenomenal. And I was like, oh, that's like the Avatar theme. I don't ever really think about that. But I was like, okay, I'm hooked. I don't know. What did you guys think? Did you guys watch it?
I did, yeah. I thought it felt like a lot more had a lot more depth to it than the first movie. Mm-hmm. So it's been interesting to see these trailers come out.
For as much as we talked about the CGI or like the advancement in technology when that first one came out, it is kind of mind blowing how much better this movie looks.
It does look really good.
10 years later, like. Oh damn! Like when there's a shot where Sully, I assume that's his name still. I don't know if he took like an Avatar name.
Jake Sully.
Yeah, There's a shot where he like in the dark comes out of the water where there's like flames around him or whatever, and you can just like see the water like dripping off of him or whatever. And I was just like, dang, that looks like crisp. Like that's a good shot. And listen, do I think the first movie's story was like super perfect and superb is what I was trying to say. Super perfect, superb. Do I think this one's going to be great, the story wise? I'm not holding out a lot of hope, but it does look pretty good.
Yeah,
it does look like an adventure and a kind of a little bit of a thrill ride.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
And we got to see Sigourney Weaver's performance as a little girl.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I was kind of taken aback by, and I'm wondering how this plays out. It does seem like all of the humans that became avatars have like their avatar bodies with a slight human face. But then when you jump into Zoe Saldana's character, who is like, she is like a purebred or whatever. That doesn't sound
She's
right.
just like a actual Na'vi.
She's an actual Na'vi from the planet.
Right.
There's like a structure to her that it doesn't look like we merged these two things. Like this is how they look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I noticed that like several of the characters, like, oh, okay, they have kind of like faces that resemble their human form. But the Zoe Saldana character, she doesn't look like Zoe Saldana. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that is like the cat.
Kate Winslet does not look like Kate Winslet.
I couldn't even tell you who Kate Winslet
was.
I think you get a glimpse of her in the trailer from what I've just seen from like stills and interviews.
I want to say maybe you hear her too.
Yeah, maybe. I'm very interested in seeing her just because I love Kate Winslet. I thought Zoe Saldana was the best thing about the first one. And absolutely. So I'm keen to see how that relationship goes. Man, I just don't think Sam Worthington is that captivating.
Part.
Even
that's the problem.
As a blue man, he is a little bit just flat for me. So I hope. I mean, it's going to be a grand scale movie, and he's not. I mean, obviously, he's going to be a central focus on that, but obviously, they're building other storylines through the children. Obviously, and they've got this like intertribal thing going on that will be interesting, like the sea tribe and the land tribe, and then I guess
that was super interesting.
The planet, Earth. Humans are still fucking things up along the way. And with that said, too, I felt like there were a couple of similar beats. You know what? I was more sold on this movie with the first trailer than I was the second trailer, if that makes sense. And maybe that's just because I'm seeing more context, but also that just might be their strategy. They're just like, here's all the, like I said, the beats from the first movie. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. It's obviously going to be 3 hours and 10 minutes.
3 hours long. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that was one of the things I was taking away from the trailer when I was watching it, was just like, if they're showing me bits from Act 1, 2, and 3 right now, does it even really matter? Because there's still like 2 hours and 55 minutes left to go.
I will say this.
What are we going to get?
I was like, James Cameron seems to be in his element whenever he is directing in water. The man likes a good water scene. So there was clearly like almost like a little nod to Titanic. You know, they're in the sinking ship and the water's coming up and they're stuck inside that ship. And then, man, the one shot where like my jaw dropped was the whale animal coming up and then crashing onto the ship. I was just like, man, that's going to be cool. That's going to be cool.
But you don't see it crash. And so like in my mind, I'm like, okay, obviously he like breaks that ship in half, but
maybe he flies.
The second or third time I watched that trailer, I just imagined this thing like flopping, kind of like in the first movie when they shot arrows at the helicopter thing and it did nothing. Yeah. Like I just imagine there's a whale landing on this boat and then being like, my back. Oh, and it like rolls back into the water and they're like, yeah, we're a big fucking boat. You know what I mean? Like
in the future, in space.
We got this is unobtainium right here. Like we got this shit. No, listen. Do I think it's going to be a perfect movie? No. This is the one that I will go see, and it will determine if I want to see the third movie, the fourth movie, the fifth movie, the series.
I think that would be the
comic
case
books,
for a
the
lot of
toys.
people. Either that, or we'll just die before those sequels come out.
Whatever. God willing.
Ed, I think you got the next couple trailers, huh? That you want to hit us up with. Ooh.
The Eternal Daughter, yes. From Studio A24, beloved by the three of us, I think.
And many more.
And many other people. We're not the only ones. So this is a thriller, psychological thriller, coming from Joanna Hogg, which I know... I mean, maybe you guys have heard of her, but probably not. She did The Souvenir Part 1 and Part 2, which is like a big indie... I wouldn't say a big indie hit, but amongst critics, very much so, and also of a one Marty Scorsese. And you'll notice he's executive producing this film.
Yo, he's hot on A24 right now, right? Like, didn't he just talk about some other movie?
Yeah, he likes those movies. He's got good taste.
It's like, A24 is like, Marty, any day now.
Yeah.
We have 1,000 scripts. Come on.
So anyway, this stars Tilda Swinton in dual roles as an artist and her elderly mother confront long-buried secrets when they return to a former family home that's now a hotel haunted by its mysterious past.
Oh, no.
I know. All that to say is you've got a very promising director with a solid studio, a great executive producer, whatever that means, and one of the best actresses around. So the trailer looks good. I thought the cinematography was very striking, and I'm curious to see where it goes. You disagree, Miguel?
I have thoughts. But I've also done a lot of talking, so I want to give Luis a chance if he wants to.
I mean, it looks
clear the air.
creepy and
What
scary.
are your thoughts?
You know, it looks creepy
So,
and scary. Yeah, that's it.
I have several. Number one, Ed, did you watch The Souvenir Part 1 and 2? Yes or no?
I watched Part 1.
Okay, that's all I want to know. I've never in my life thought about an indie movie that had a Part 2 like that. I have more questions about that. We'll come back to that later. I did not think the cinematography was super engaging. We talked about Women Talking a couple weeks ago where it looked kind of flat. This one, in a similar vein, it did look kind of cheap in my mind in some shots.
Wow.
When they were talking about like Joanna Hogg, I was like, oh, okay, like an up and comer. Okay, I see it. But then at the same time, I really enjoyed Tilda Swinton playing both characters, and I loved how one of the critiques at the end was like, by the end of the movie, you don't even remember that it's the same actor playing two characters, and I thought that was awesome. I was like, that's a pretty good like vote of confidence. But I walked away from the trailer feeling like this kind of gives me. Do you guys remember that Nicole Kidman movie?
Yes,
The Hours.
The others. Yeah.
She was in both.
She was also in The Hours. No, I'm talking about The Others. That was like the vibe I got.
That's the vibe I was getting.
The Others mixed a little bit with, and this is just maybe a prediction of mine. DiCaprio, Mark Ruffalo, The Island.
Shutter
Island. I was getting both of those vibes as I was watching.
Okay.
Because it felt something about like them being there and then like kind of getting lost in the sauce, and I was like, oh, okay, that kind of happens to Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie. But at the same time, feeling that like that kind of look of The Others, with Nicole Kidman. So at the end of the day, I walked away from that trailer going like, I could watch this movie like on HBO for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting. Yeah, no, I was just surprised only because I thought like when the trailer started, I was just like, I already loved the look of it. So it's interesting that we had those.
My bad.
But then again, I'm not the one wearing glasses, so
shut the fuck. I'm like, don't look too good.
A little blurry. No, I mean, but anyway, I popped up, and it's also gotten some rave reviews from the festival circuit. So, and like I said, Tilda Swinton is always great.
I do like her.
She always brings it, you know. And then her playing against herself, hell yeah, why not? If anything, it's like an exercise, and you just get to watch it unfold.
There are some actors that you're like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you are the caliber of actor that can like take on this type of project.
Yeah, exactly.
And it be believable. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, that's coming to theaters November, December
2nd.
Thank you very much, Miguel.
I'm trying to help you out.
Over to you, Luis.
Poker Face. That's going to be a TV show. Poker Face. There's a TV show with Ryan Johnson. We've known him making Knives Out. He's also making a Knives Out sequel. He's also making a TV show, and he's working with Natasha Lyonne, obviously from what's it called? Orange is the New Black.
Russian Doll.
Russian Doll.
Yeah, Russian Doll, but Orange is the New Black. That's what I was going to start.
And American Pie, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. American Pie. And so together they're working on this old school case of the week mystery series called Poker Face. It premieres January 26th on Peacock. Peacock Original. I'm telling you, Peacock is arming up their catalog every time they're making their name known.
What episode is this? 32, 33 or whatever? We started
33.
this podcast. We started this podcast talking about HBO Max.
Yeah.
Now it feels like, hey, Peacock, what's up?
I know. They also host a lot of the Real Housewives on Peacock. Another trailer that came out is Marvel Studios' Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is the first trailer that came out ever since the trailer from D23 and Comic-Con. I did see the trailer leak from D23 and Comic-Con, and so it's interesting to see how different of a trailer this is going to be compared to that one. This one definitely had a more Guardians of the Galaxy vibe.
100%.
They and the D23 Comic-Con had a more serious and life-threatening with menacing music and a definite tonal shift compared to this one. This one is light. This one has a Guardian, not just the using music of that era, but also its shots of like kind of all the colors similarly.
When they go to the quantum realm for the first time, it looks very much.
And
like
those shots of those white shots of awe and strange creatures. It just there's a lot of like same feelings. Like this feels like a little Guardians, especially with the music. There just seemed a lot of things together. But in the Comic-Con one, it did not have that heavy of a tone. It felt more like Infinity War, not as light, not as awe-inspiring. It felt menacing.
Do you think this is maybe a diversion? You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Well, yeah, I think it's kind of giving the audience like, hey, you know Ant-Man, you know he's silly, you know it's a good time, y'all like Guardians of the Galaxy. Here's a trailer that'll make you all happy, you know. And I'm hoping that we get a little bit of the serious tone of Ant-Man into this thing. That would be very cool. There was also what Kang and Ant-Man were talking about. It was a different discussion too. In the D23 Comic-Con one, he says, "You're an interesting man, Scott Lang. You've lost a lot of time, but time, it isn't what you think. It's not a straight line. When you see time the way I do, you can see everything. Your reality, everything you call life, I know how it ends." He says, I don't know who you are, but you made a big mistake. I'm an Avenger. He says, "You're an Avenger? Haven't I killed you before?" They all blend together after a while. And then Ant-Man says, "Who are you?" "Just a man who has lost a lot of time like you. But we can help each other with that. Someone stole something from me, and you're the only one who can steal it back. So, do we have a deal?" And that's
is what we see a glimpse of
in the trailer.
In the new trailer, right? This is just kind of the more fleshed out version. Anyway, thoughts?
I kind of like how they juxtapose those two trailers. Like at D23, you're gonna want like that meaty, you know what I mean, scoop of what's going on because it's like this like secret thing. Here, in the trailer that we get on the to the masses, I kind of really like what they do with it. How it kind of ends on a more serious note, and a serious note in the sense of if you're like reading like body language and in between the lines or whatever. The way he says, I mean, to be honest, I was kind of like back and forth about Kang, Jonathan Majors as Kang. But the way he like asks that question at the end of the trailer, where he's like, "So what'll it be, Ant-Man?" You know what I mean? Like he's like, it's almost like it's almost you 100%, and it's almost like the context being like he almost kind of mocking him in a sense, but not necessarily mocking him, but like goading him into like, I'll treat you seriously if that's how you want to be treated. Yeah. You know what I mean?
To what you were just saying, how he does the quote where he doesn't remember the Avengers, and he's like, Ant-Man, was it? Kind of in that vibe. It's just like, am I getting that right? Yeah. I was digging his vibe and the look too in this. Like, I wasn't so keen on him in Loki, but that was kind of just like my take with the show overall, and then how he capped that show. But I liked their use of Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. I thought that was very effective, and
there's a lot of Wizard of Oz references that are happening. I was watching a video in the Phase 4. Like, it happened during Loki, it happened during WandaVision. They're just like playing with this idea of like Yellow Brick Road, man behind the man, or man behind the curtain, blah blah blah.
Which will be very interesting. So, and I don't know. Excuse me, fuck. I don't know a lot about Kang. Other than what has been presented so far in the MCU, so I'm ready for a next big villain kind of thing, I guess. So
I think this is it.
This will be an interesting. I think this will be like the real introduction going into it. Yeah. So I'm here for it.
I texted about this in the group the first time I saw the trailer, but I do like that they are incorporating that like blue Kang look. But not necessarily saying he has to be blue the entire time.
No, it's like a face shield, right?
Yeah, that shield, like I like that. I think that's kind of a cool way to interpret that look without it being like 100%.
That's what they do in the comics too. Is he has a shield that makes him blue? He'll like take it off, and he's just like a dude. Because he was also like an Egyptian emperor. At once, he traveled back in time. It was an Egyptian emperor,
so possibly
kind of like Apocalypse.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And there's a comic run where they meet, Apocalypse and him meet together and have a talk. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening. You know, they're also.
I just want to say I was not expecting to be this engaged with an Ant-Man movie at any point in his run. You know what I mean? If this is it, you know what I mean? If this is and possibly how they're going to like send off Paul Rudd, if that's going to be the case, I'm probably not.
Paul
right?
Rudd's
like,
going to stay for sure.
I mean, for at least the next like Avengers run, right?
He's
like,
going. No way can I see them not going to Secret Wars without him.
But if this is like, say, like the Iron Man 3 of Ant-Man's, you know what I mean, storyline. Like, okay, and we're no longer going to see Ant-Man solo after this. Okay, I'm kind of interested to see how it's going to wrap that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of interesting stuff. Someone also pointed out that you can't spell Quantumania without Ant-Man. And it says
I saw that.
Ant, you man in there too. So a lot of interesting stuff there. I could go on. Quantum Realm is like the gateway to other planes and places. Why is Kang stuck? Who is he facing? We still haven't seen MODOK, which we know MODOK's going to be in here. We know, I mean, there's a lot of questions here. And then also Marvel Studios Guardians of the Galaxy coming out November 25th. This is a fun little trailer. I was surprised to see Drax.
The holiday special.
Oh yeah, the holiday special. Kind of what they do in Canada TV shows, British TV shows. Now we're doing this fun little movie.
I'm kind of like tired of the Guardians of the Galaxy being like these like one-off little goofs. Like, not that I need them to be super serious all the time or anything like that, but it's like, can we get back to that? Can we get to that third movie? You know what I mean? Like, they keep being like, "Where's Gamora?" And I'm like, "Where is Gamora?"
Yeah,
you know, like.
This is
But,
definitely
but at
like
the
this is
same
definitely
time,
like a little
fun.
piece of candy. This is candy. This is candy content.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be short and sweet. It's not going to be long. It's going to be 50 minutes. Pop it in, have a fun little adventure. We're in and out. You know, which is
Those Groot episodes were fine. I Am Groot. So I don't know.
But you were talking about Lily being super into those, and Forrest, when we finally sat down and watched them, he was kind of like, I want to watch one more. Let's watch more.
Yeah, I mean, they
He was
happen
having a
so
good time.
quickly. Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks. It doesn't go into the next episode though, right? Like you have to.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they kind of fine tuned it a little bit, where they would like put it in the recommended watch or whatever. But it was just like, damn, I'm pressing a lot of buttons to get to this content.
That's only like 3
When it
minutes
should be
long. I have to
seamless.
keep pressing them every 3 minutes. Yeah,
Bro, it'll be 6 minutes, and then it'll be 3 minutes of a cartoon, and then
Absolutely.
like 3 minutes of credits, and you're like, okay, all right. Shout out to the Norwegian voice actor that I'm seeing the credit for right now, but I just kind of thought we would wrap this up by now.
yeah.
No, I look forward to it in the sense of I'll watch it on Disney Plus.
It'll be a fun time. It's coming out November 25th. And that's it for the news. Next, we have our feature discussion of the House of the Dragon. And we're going to have our guest, Steven Escobar, joining in. So here we go. All right, welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd. We're here talking about House of the Dragon. My God, the season 1 is over. We are here to finally talk about it. And of course, we have our guest here, Steven Escobar. Everybody, let's clap.
Thank you.
Steven, people have been wanting you to come back for this episode.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I was afraid I was a wrench in the wheel, but I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely not. You are saving this boat of a podcast right now by your presence alone. I can't. For the people at home watching on YouTube. You got the whole. I've never seen you with the long hair and the full garb.
I know,
you look
right?
Like out of House of the Dragon. You just need to dye your hair
That's what I was
white.
going for. Yeah. When Damon had his long hair in like episode 1, I was like, yes. And then episode 2, he cut it, and I got real disappointed. I said, this was our thing, man. What are you doing?
It was hard. I was rewatching some episodes. And I was trying to keep track of his hair length. There was like long, short, bun length, like mid length, and yeah, that's a whole other story there. Like how
you look more like a strong though with that brunette hair. You know.
How dare you? How dare you say
right.
strong? No, I'm kidding.
I would have been proud to be as strong.
Not
Oh, man.
But
Well, here we
No,
are.
right.
We're here to talk about House of the Dragon. Now, look, I want to hear you guys talk about it. We're gonna talk reactions, season finale. Who am I gonna throw this to? I'm gonna throw it to Ed, then Miguel, then Steven, and me because I'm leading it. I can go last. Haha, suckers. Ed, what were your thoughts on the season finale? Obviously, we're gonna talk about the whole season as a whole, but season finale, and
specifically
season,
the last episode. Yeah. Nice shirt, by the way, Luis. For
Thank you.
anybody
I went to
who's
Target.
on YouTube.
Listen, do you want to know a fun story? I was running
you just
late.
covered it with your mic, but yeah.
I was running late for a flight, and literally I woke up and I had to jet to the airport. I was wearing shorts and like a very stinky shirt. I got to where I needed to go. I went to a Target and I bought new clothes for the shoot. And I saw this. I was like, oh, okay, whoop, I'm taking that. And now, I got this shirt from San Francisco, Target.
Very nice.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, anyway. Ed, what did you think of
Episode 10, The Black Queen. I liked it. This season definitely ended on a high for me. I was definitely kind of meh about it most way through the middle part of the season, but the last 3 episodes, starting with the last episode with Viserys, were awesome. And it, like we had been talking about, it's building now to the Civil War. So I'm very keen to see what's coming next, basically. I mean, we got like a little bit of dragon action in the last episode, which was immense. It was awesome. We got like some nice scale for the different dragons, and like I said, it was kind of like a lukewarm start, but it had a strong end, and I'm here for it. Going into season 2, whenever that comes out, like 2024 or something now, I think.
We got a long way to go. Miguel, what were your thoughts on the finale?
Man, kind of like Ed, just to echo what he said. Like, I started the season just like, I don't know if I really want to do this. A lot of hesitation. Probably mentioned it last time. It's just, Game of Thrones, it didn't end so hot, and it wasn't like I was super excited to jump back into this world. Yet by the end of the season, I was hooked, man. And honestly, after Steven was here last time too, I mean, I think that was like a game changer for me and Ed. We were like,
true.
oh, wait a second, this story is interesting. Like, okay,
Yeah,
let's see.
it could be leading somewhere. That definitely reaffirmed my position on it. Just like going forward, I was like, okay, there's more to it. We're just seeing the pieces being set. So thank you, Steven.
You're welcome. I guess I'll. I surprisingly, I don't have much to say. It's doing a good job. I mean, it follows the book almost line for line. They're changing a few things that I think are for the better, like Rhaenys coming out with the dragon and all that. That doesn't happen, but that was incredible. Oh, just talk about the last episode. It's they're making little changes that are. I really enjoy, like, for example, Boros Baratheon, who, he says, not in my hall, all this. He's a lot meaner and crueler, if you can believe it, in the book. The world's almost a little darker. In this, they're much more human and fleshed out, which I really like. So when they make changes, it doesn't bother me at all. The only issue I have, which I will bury this issue and burn it because everyone seems to disagree. Not everyone, but most people seem to disagree with me on this, but it is going really fast. These last 5 episodes flew. And I mean, literally they're going like page, turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. And I expected, when I talked about Breakbones last time, I really expected him to die in like episode 9 or 8 or something. He died in episode 6. Like, he's gone. And now Luke is gone. And we didn't even know these guys. Like, we just, hi, nice to meet you, dead.
It was literally the next episode. We had our episode, and then literally the next episode, he dies,
That was the strong guy?
Yeah, Harwin Strong. Yes, we don't even know him anymore. Yeah.
We didn't even know him at all, man.
We didn't even know him at all.
Yeah. That was shocking. And when that happened, I don't think any of us realized that it was him right away. I might be speaking for myself, but like in that scene, they don't even establish that. Yeah, when the fire was burning,
I knew it was him.
You got that the father, the hand of the king, that was him. But the guy banging on his door,
right?
Like, you wouldn't have known it. I mean, from first look, and then I remember somebody told me that was who that was supposed to be. I was like, oh well, shit. I guess we were supposed to feel something more to that, but nah, it's like
exactly.
A win. Yeah,
exactly. I'm surprised because I felt more for him in the book than I did in the show. Same with Luke. I mean, we never know this guy. I mean, he's a kid. It's sad to watch a kid die, but we didn't feel anything for him like we did when Ned died. When Ned dies in Game of Thrones, we're all freaking out. We felt nothing for these people.
I feel like Viserys was the Ned Stark of this season.
That's a really good point.
I mean, we all knew he was going to die because like each episode he looked more and more like shit. I mean, we got to know the kid a little bit compared to that guy, but and he was supposed to be the older brother.
The younger brother. Oh, there's 3. There's Jace, Luke, and Joffrey. He was Luke in the middle. So the other 3 strong boys. The middle boy died. We didn't even know Joffrey yet. Like, we don't even know these kids. We haven't even really met them. I'm just surprised they're just throwing us into this war that fast. But I think they had to.
I'll say this: when I watched Game of Thrones for the first time, I mean, it took about like 2 or 3 sit downs and watching of like the whole seasons to like really get people's names. Even though I felt like I was really paying attention to this season, y'all are losing me. I'm like, wait, who died? Joffrey. No, it's definitely. I was like, dang, I forgot all about these characters' names. I really was just like vibing. I was just like, yes, dragon, eat that kid.
Eat that kid. I don't know.
I feel like I'm keeping up, but just very, loosely.
It seems like they chose to go fast because I think they heard the complaints from a lot of people that it was just too slow, and they said, okay, we're just going to have to fly through these next 5 episodes. Whereas for me, it just felt a little too fast because I wanted to see more I wanted to see the Strongs be raised by their father. Right. We didn't see any of that ever, which I was surprised.
Yeah.
It, in my mind, it draws a distinction between the Strong boys and Viserys' children, Alicent's children, how they're raised horribly and come out horrible, and Breakbones raises his kids really well. He has like one line in episode 6 where he says, like, "Is this what you teach, Kristen? Cruelty towards the weaker." This is who he is.
That was the moment. That was like the what you get this moment, and then just assume the rest that he kind of treated his kids that way. Yeah.
A couple of glances from Rhaenyra, and that was about it. But yeah.
All right, so they're just okay. I guess that's what we're doing.
Well, it's not like the Lannister or whatever, the Hightower's kids' fault, because Viserys was a bad father to them.
Exactly.
Anyway. Absolutely. He was also like half dead half the time.
Right.
But,
was he even there?
And Alicent's too young.
Yeah. I can't even lift a sword. Ooh. That's my Viserys.
Perfect. I thought it was him.
Because he doesn't have an arm. Or an eye, I guess. Yeah.
After watching this last episode, I was excited because we only had the previous episode was all Alicent Hightower, and so I knew this one was just going to be all Rhaenyra. We had these crazy moments where she like takes a baby out, like just births it and pulls it out. And I love the moment when she's handed the crown. And Alicent's father, forgetting his name, what's his name? Alicent's the Hightower. Otto. When Otto Hightower comes in, we kind of get that reoccurring, that same situation from episode 2, where the dragon kind of flanks behind Otto Hightower, and you just it revisits that moment. And it was just like juicy stuff. Like, yes, you're pitted again. How are we gonna get out of this? And those are my favorite moments of like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, is when you get pitted. And they're saying, okay, how are you going to get out of this now, buddy?
Yes.
And then and the biggest thing, obviously, was at the end when the boy goes to visit Luke goes to visit Baratheon. Right? Yeah. And you see Vhagar, the huge ass dragon, just lift his head, and I was like, "Oh fuck, he's died. He's gone." I don't know anything, but I was like, "He's dead." I don't know what's gonna happen. And then the moment happens, obviously he's like, an eye for an eye. They have that thing, and he's like, "Not here." I was like, "Okay, great. He's gonna die out there now." And that dragon, I mean, he's huge. Like, and they were saying. We have dragons, but they also have dragons, and it really puts things in perspective how even though they have dragons, it doesn't mean automatically
necessarily
right. Yeah, because Vhagar completely just like took a bite and he obliterated Luke and the dragon, And the biggest thing for me, I was talking to Steven about this. The biggest thing for me about that moment was seeing what's his name, the guy with the eye.
Aemon.
Yeah, Aemon.
See, this is why I like the nicknames. That's why I just call people like One Eye. His nickname is One Eye. I just call him One Eye. It's One Eye. Yeah, One Eye.
He has a one eye. One eye.
It's his short stuff.
Yeah.
Short
one
stuff
eye, short
and one
stuff.
eye.
What happens here is after the moment happens, you could see him lose control of the dragon, and that was brought up in episode 1 or 2.
Yes.
Where did they say? He said,
it's a myth that we control the dragons.
The idea that we can control the dragons is an illusion.
It's an illusion.
And man, we're going to talk about illusions later on in this episode. But the fact that he kind of lost control because he didn't really want to kill him, and he knew what would happen if he actually died, but he lost control, and it got too heated, and then he kind of got put in a situation that, the rug got pulled out of him, and now you almost see this like regret that Aemon has to deal with, and he knows he really fucked up, even though he really hated Luke for everything that's happened and has his hatred. I don't think that he truly intended to kick this off because he knows what's happened now. Like because because he died, it started this whole war, and you can see him like, oh fuck, when that moment happened, and the question now is, how does he cope with that in the next season? You know what I mean? That is what I'm interested in, is how he's going to cope.
With the pace of this show, I'd be willing to bet he gets over it pretty quickly.
Exactly.
They say it's going to move a lot faster now. They're like, now that we've set everything up, we're going to blaze
kind of
through.
Mind-boggling.
They're going to blaze through.
You pointed out, Stephen, that they were like saying that it was too slow or whatever, but like one of the biggest problems, and I think one of the biggest complaints towards the end of Game of Thrones, was that they were just jumping around all the time and things were moving too quickly.
Yeah.
Like one minute they were fighting the great battle at Winterfell, next minute they were lined up outside King's Landing with like very little exposition in between.
Do you guys remember how fast, like the episode where Daenerys loses a dragon over the wall? Do you remember how fast she makes her decision on Dragonstone, and then like a scene later, she is north of the wall? Do you know how crazy that is? To in like 15 minutes, she just traveled an entire continent. That was too much.
From one side to the complete other side. What happened in between doesn't matter. We're going.
Doesn't matter.
She knew exactly where they were too. It's just like, oh,
and if she found no, they were going too fast.
And
just checking off.
Relatively, like looking at the map, I mean, Dragonstone is very close to Storm's End, and we didn't see Winterfell this episode where the older brother was supposed to go, right? But yeah, so it makes sense that would have taken a short time. We didn't see Winterfell yet, but I don't feel like pacing has been, if anything, the show's biggest issue so far.
I think so too.
It's taken very big leaps at a time. For a lot of people I know, it was like very confusing because they, at least for the child actors, they kept changing like nearly every episode at a certain point. But then we had the main cast, I mean, only some of the main cast switch, whereas Damon stays the same age. Kristen Cole, fucking handsome.
Oh, by the way, his nickname, I had to keep biting my tongue at his nickname, but he's the Kingmaker. That's his nickname, Kingmaker. So I just call him Kingmaker. I'm to get back to call him Kingmaker because he put the crown on his head. He's known as the Kingmaker. So I just call him. I have to check out Kristen. Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, Kristen Cole. Right, Kristen Cole.
I want him to die, obviously. But,
he's gotten worse.
Yeah.
I thought he would like lighten up, but no, he just keeps becoming more despicable as we go.
Do you guys, and Stephen, you might already know this, but do you guys think him and Allison fucking, or is she keeping her toes out of that one? And the other creepy dude.
I mean, I don't know anything, but I feel like it would happen, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he made that mistake. I don't know.
In episode 9, she acknowledges his feelings, but it doesn't go anywhere. She just like, whatever your feelings are for me, I need you in this moment or whatever.
I kind of think she would draw a line, like a boundary. Like I feel like she's using him to get what she needs. You know what I mean?
But I feel like that same line would have been drawn with Mr. Footfucker in the other room. Like, how did what was that transaction? It's just like, by the way, you know that one time where I killed my dad and my brother for you? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Can I see or smell or look at your feet? And do you mind if I masturbate in front of you?
Oh, man.
Right.
I mean, how did it get to that point so quickly? She is the queen. She does have other means of, like, she could talk to anybody and just like, hey, I need this information. Or, hey, go kill this guy because guess what? I'm the queen. That was weird and not very, like, not that I really want to see the origins of the foot fetish. But just like, I don't know. It was just weird to me.
Maybe she doesn't quite realize the power she holds, though. You know what I mean? And maybe she's like learning that as the season goes on.
Definitely,
she's always being like put into positions. Like the first time we see her is basically her dad being like, "Go to the king. His wife just died. Like you be the new lady." You know what I mean? Like she's always.
I got you one more. The first time we see her, Rhaenyra lands her dragon and says, "Come with me," and she goes, "No, thanks. I prefer to play safe and easy and cautious down here on the ground." You know, right away establishing their differences.
Yeah,
she's more conservative than that. She's too afraid to really jump.
That's true. And the moment she does get the knife out and tries to stab Rhaenyra, that really wasn't her. That was like a very guttural, like animalistic reaction. That wasn't something that she typically does. You know,
right? She was just like fed up with all of it, like
because of all that buildup. Yeah.
And her dad's like, "I didn't know you had it in you." He's been with her whole life, and even he didn't know. Yeah, I think there's something to that.
I know we're kind of talking about it, but season 1 overall, like what I know we're talking about time, like pacing. Was there like favorite moments, things that you wish were there, favorite characters, episodes, anything that sticks out for y'all?
I mean, I mentioned already that it really kind of kicked off for me from episode. No, I guess it was 8, 9, and 10, right? Viserys dies in episode 8.
Wow, it took you that long
I think so.
to kick in?
Huh?
It took you that long to
like,
kick in?
I was okay with it, but I was like a little, again, just worn down with all the time jumps. I did like the switch to the older actors, though I will say, what's her name who plays Alicent?
Oh, yeah.
The older one. She
one in Ready
might
Player
as
One?
well... Sorry?
Nothing, go ahead. I'm being
Oh.
dumb.
I was just going to say, she might as well just be the same age as her predecessor. Like, I feel like they needed just maybe like a little bit more of an age difference.
I do think there was not consistency in the age jumps. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like all of a sudden, Aemond, One Eye, you know what I mean, is like 30.
Yeah.
I know.
And
I was
he
taken
looks
aback.
older than his brother.
And the strong
Yes, he
boys,
does. I was
they're
confused if it
just
wasn't
like
for the eye.
preteens.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't know.
Exactly.
No, if we're talking about favorite things, let me talk about something I didn't like was that actor. Not necessarily the actor. I'm not talking
Pucker
shit,
lips.
but the guy that plays
Pucker lips?
Aemond. Yeah, dude. Oh God, man. And it's not
I
his
agree.
fault. I mean, that's his face.
I agree.
But it was just like,
We're talking about One Eye?
yeah, it was just so on the nose. He was like,
Yeah.
and I said this before, but like this like dastardly villain. Like if they fucked around and didn't give him a mustache to twirl, you know what I mean? Like it was, and then when he lost the eye, it was like, okay, maybe like this makes sense like for the character or whatever. But it was also just very like, oh great, and now he has an eye patch. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, and the ruby stuck right in the
Oh,
That's
yes.
yeah.
He's an angsty
Yeah, he's
teenager. You know what I mean? They're melodramatic and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like him a lot. I look forward to him and Damon having their own little.
I liked it when they
fuck-off or
faced
whatever.
off. They're like, oh.
They're either gonna fuck or fight. It's gonna be one of them.
I don't think anyone saw that coming.
No, I mean that's Game of Thrones, baby. Anything goes.
All right, fair enough.
Literally anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I look forward to that. I did like as in the earlier episodes, I grew tired of the younger Rhaenyra.
Yeah, I think I do.
I wasn't really buying it. I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I prefer the older version.
Oh, yeah.
I
too.
for sure prefer, but I think I thought she did a pretty good job.
I
I
did
liked
too.
the character from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. But no, I'm with that on that. I prefer the older Rhaenyra. It feels more grounded and more human, and
Yeah.
I feel like I understand.
And I guess
She is really good.
Yeah, I guess those are the actors we're going to be seeing more of.
I guess until the
anyway.
end, right, yeah.
So, well, how long does the Civil War last, Stephen?
I mean, I don't know how it should theoretically. The show should end with the end of the Civil War. I mean, one side kind of definitively wins. I imagine that's the end of the show. There's sort of an epilogue of what happens. There's a cleanup that occurs. It's not good for anybody, and there's sort of the houses come together to sort of clean all this mess up. The realm is on fire. I mean, the whole Seven Kingdoms is just on fire. And so they sort of put the kibosh on the Civil War. And one side definitively wins, but they don't have any control. And I think it only lasts like 5 or 6 years or something. But the whole time it's just a mess. And it ends with them making their own new council and everything. And they're like, all right, let's figure this out once and for all so that it never happens again. And they have to like clean it up. And I assume that'll be the end. The end will be them cleaning all this mess up because it's going to need to be cleaned up. It's going to be a mess. So I think it's only like 6 years. I don't know. I have to check.
Okay. Interesting.
But it's going to be good. I mean, it's going to the death of Luke. I mean, this is the beginning. This is probably like the least violent thing that occurs going forward.
It definitely felt like a huge like a catalyst moment. Like here, the fire is finally started. Everything else is like truly. It felt like everything else was setting up this one moment. I think
that's what it says in the book. In the book,
really?
it says like something. Yeah, like one of the lines is something like, the war of words had ended and the dance of letters had ended and the dance of dragons had officially begun with Luke's death. It was like, to them, they were like, this is it. There's no going back. Like,
It's huge.
and you
It's
saw
such
like
a huge
Rhaenyra's
moment.
face. She was like, this is it. This is the end. Like, we're going to kill them all. It's over.
That's that
there's no going
Targaryen
back.
madness kicking in.
There you go. Yeah, there's just no going back on this.
Yeah.
You can't negotiate anymore.
I did have a question. Book reader Steven, I do have a question for you. I have a coworker who told me, who is also, he reads the books and is like a fan of all that. He told me that it wasn't really Luke that dies, it was the older boy. Was he mistaken about that, or is that how it goes?
It's definitely Luke. It's Luke in the book as well. Jace has a pretty big role to play going forward. He looks so young. They're not going to time jump him because he ends up like running this. I kind of said this about Breakbones last time, but I meant Jace. He kind of ends up running her military for her. I mean, Daemon does as well, but Jace makes so many of these decisions. And in the show, he's like a little boy. Like, I don't know. In my head, he was much more of a man than a boy. But Jace.
Maybe that time
Jace
jump
goes
will come
on and
next
on
season.
and on.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was surprised when he said that. I was like, oh, okay, that is like a pretty big change.
Ask him to double check, if he's got his book, double check, because Jace is going to do some things and just make sure because I'm thinking of like Jace's story. So it goes here. Okay, he can't be dead because he's going to do this, and Luke does nothing else because he's dead.
Because he's
gotta
dead.
Yeah, he's gone. He's in the water. So,
Didn't even like get the Baratheons on their side. Just died for nothing.
didn't even get the Baratheons. Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah.
Thanks,
Let
Mom.
me ask you. You guys kind of said this earlier. Did you guys? I mean, Ed, maybe Steven, Louis. I'm curious about you. Did y'all not care that this boy died? That Luke died from this dragon bite?
No, I did.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
it sounded
100%.
it sounded like you were like, I just didn't feel I didn't feel like the emotion or whatever.
Oh no.
No,
When I
it
say
was-
that, go ahead. I was
Sorry,
going to say, when I say
Steven,
that,
go ahead.
when I say I didn't feel the emotion I felt was, here is a young teenager or a preteen dying. I would feel that way about any preteen. It could be a news story, and I would feel the same level of bad.
For sure.
But I didn't know him. I didn't understand him or who he was or what he wanted or what he felt. I thought we should have gotten so much more time with him. I'm surprised they didn't pull at our heartstrings more. I thought we could have gotten more out of that.
I bring that up because maybe I didn't know him as a like fully thought out, fleshed out character or whatever.
Right.
But I saw him through the eyes of his mother, you know what I mean? Which I thought they did a really good job in this episode about her like seeing both of them as like young men and kind of still holding on to her youngest. She like kind of like holds his hand or something before she sends him off. And I felt like that was like, oh, you're still my baby boy. And so I kind of felt for her. I thought it was, maybe I didn't 100% know him, the character, but I understood who he was to her, which I also thought made her last shot amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's more. Yeah, I think
you're
they were leaning more on the gravity of the context of the situation, which I felt like definitely hit home. I mean, you kind of saw it coming. It was like, again, I think you guys said like that. I even told Sarah going into the episode, because we were saying like, oh, what's going to happen? I was like, I think Aemond is coming for that eye for an eye, and not like literally, but just like somebody's going to die. And it's either going to be, one of the kids, obviously, who did it. That kid also was like ridiculing him over the whole pig thing from the early age. You remember that, Miguel? Like when they were way younger, they were training with dragons, and Aemond at the time couldn't figure it out, and they sent like an actual pig out to him, and then they sent him a roasted pig at the family dinner. That's why he gets all pissed off. So like nobody's really innocent, but I think we felt the weight of it just purely. I mean, it made me feel like when we were watching Jurassic Park for the first time, when those kids were in danger. It's just like these horrifying monsters that the kids are around, and it was like worst case scenario, he got like bitten in half, literally, and it was that was terrifying.
Did y'all think he was going to get away with it for a second? You know what I mean?
No.
Nah, even in the canyon,
in the clouds.
you didn't think?
No,
the clouds.
I
he was
I
done.
thought he was going to stay in the canyon. Like, dude, you're
That's what I
set.
said too.
Why do you
I was
need
like,
to go out?
land.
Just
Yeah, I was
land
like,
and chill.
just
That
stay.
guy's way too big. Yeah, I
yeah.
thought that was going to happen, but I was like, no, he can't end like that. Yeah.
I knew it was going to happen. I was still trying to give advice to the screen. I was like, no, you got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Just stay, Lance.
We'll just walk home.
I was still
We'll just walk home. We'll catch a ride on a cart.
Right.
I thought what made it more intense was Luke trying to talk to Arix. Arix, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess. I really don't know
it's
the
Arix.
dragons very well.
Yeah, he was like
Arraxes,
trying to calm him. He was telling him like, stay focused, obey and stuff like that. And like that,
Can't.
like the panic in his voice. And I mean, you're riding up in a fucking thunderstorm, which apparently nobody's worried about that aspect.
It storms in, baby. It happens all the time.
That was terrifying. And then, like, when Arix, like, impulsively attacks Vagar, and he's like, no, stop, you son of a bitch. It's like trying to walk a dog down the street, and he sees another dog, they start barking at each other. And at that moment, you're just like, oh, he's fucked. He's, like, absolutely fucked. Like, Vagar's so pissed. She's like an old angry dragon.
I think that's how George R. R. Martin describes dragons. I could be wrong on this, but I vaguely remember him saying that they're like a slightly more intelligent dog.
Yeah,
they're not.
They seem very intelligent.
They're like an intelligent dog. So you can have to like train them, and then they'll obey you. But if a dog sees like a squirrel, they're going to go on instinct like that, and you'll lose them. The implications. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. This is more like a general dragon question. So we see Damon going off to the caves to talk to that other big dragon.
Oh yeah, the one.
Vermithor.
That's who I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Is that so? He's like the
Crooked teeth.
fourth biggest of the dragons.
I actually don't know.
I've got
surprised.
like a little cheat sheet here. I'm looking.
That's good. I'm going to need one. I have to get one because I don't know. What I do know, I'm really surprised. I don't know why that scene was in there. And I like this because even though I've read the book and I know what's going plot wise, I don't know what the writers are going to change emotionally. Like they've changed some things emotionally to keep me on my toes. I don't know. In the book, he has zero interaction with Vermithor. I don't think he ever even is in the same room as Vermithor's rider. So I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know why he's communicating with Vermithor.
Does he not? I thought they even spoke about it at the battle table, which we should talk about. But they
I love that.
didn't he say like Vermithor and Sheep Stealer were both riderless?
Sheep Stealer. Yeah, there's a few that are riderless. There's another one called Cannibal that eats like other dragons. I honestly hit. Cannibal, Sheep Stealer, Vermithor, they're riderless.
What's his dragon's name? Maraxus?
Damon?
Damon, yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember dragon names. I'm terrible with the freaking dragons. I have no idea. When it said, I only know Vermithor because it said in the subtitle, and I looked up, I was like, Vermithor, which one's Vermithor? And I looked and I read and I said, weird. Yeah, I'm terrible with the dragons. I can't even do it with Daenerys' dragons. I can't remember which is which.
Drogon, on this scale, Rhaegal, and Viserion were tiny in comparison to all of these dragons.
Yeah.
Like, she Rhaenyra, I always get the names confused. Rhaenyra or Rhaenyra? Whatever, the queen. She's riding that dragon. It looks like, Dany's dragon from Game of Thrones. And then you see this, like, you know what I mean, Godzilla dragon that Daemon rides with this big long neck.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, dang, these things are
the
different.
bloodworm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're different.
Dang.
Yeah, and Vagar's like some beast from the deep or something. Like, they all look
funny.
so
I was
different.
rewatching, so I ended up rewatching the show, like, because after the show ended, I went back and saw episode 1, and the first thing I noticed was the show ends in a thunderstorm, dragons in the air, thunderstorm, whatever, and the show begins with dragons in the blue sunny sky with Rhaenyra flying, and so I was like, wow, what a contrast. It seems like there's so much mirroring happens that from the beginning episode and the end, like bright sun dragon, thunderstorm dragon, and then the first 2 episodes we have Rhaenyra rising as queen, or to become, queen. And then we have the next episode 2 is Alicent, who then is set to wed Viserys, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
And then opposite side, episode 9, it's all about Alicent. And episode 10, it's all about Rhaenyra. So you have these like very specific episodes. It just like works like almost like a bookmark.
Love it.
But also, I noticed with Vhagar, they when I rewatched that scene, and Viserys was trying to see if he was going to marry
Yes.
the little girl
Yes.
who is like
Yes.
tiny. They were like, "Is it true? Like, Vhagar is still flying around looking for a rider?" And then,
Yes.
as they grow up, Vhagar's like taking, finds ownership.
She
and
rides Vhagar.
She rides Vhagar. Yeah.
She rides Vhagar.
And so it's just like, oh wow, it's so many little things you pick up when you rewatch it, where you hear these names that come in later popping up again. It's like, oh, it's very cool.
That's why I'm surprised they don't go. I mean, I get it, because you have to keep an audience captivated, but this is why I truly believe there's a way to make his stories just real slow, because if you ever rewatch it, it'll all fall into place. All these moments that seem like nothing become something when we see what has already happened. When you know what's going to happen, all these moments start becoming exciting as opposed to just being a conversation.
There's different like movies and shows where it is first impression movie and show. You know what I mean? You get what you get right away. And then there's other things that you have to rewatch it to really enjoy, where it like simmers and simmers and simmers. So every time you rewatch it, you get a little bit more. And this is just one of those shows. That's why it felt like so quote unquote slow. I mean, I know it picked up, but but slow. But you had all this like little information, because it was really nice going back, seeing, Viserys like becoming a skeleton literally at that last scene, and then seeing him at the beginning so young and full of life, and to see that progression of Paddy Considine going, like, he does a phenomenal job, like Breaking Bad, level, where when you first see him, he's like up top, full of life, plump cheeks, all of these things, and then as he goes on, he starts to like sink a little bit,
hunch over,
hunch over. You can see him hunch more and more and more. You can see his tiredness grow more and more, and I was just amazed by it. I was like, wow, it is cool to see the time jumps in that way, because you get to see such fast progression happen, and you get to see the impact of just like how time does impact people. It would have taken forever for people to, I don't know. I'm not rambling now, but it was, if you haven't rewatched it, guys, you should go back and rewatch it. It's very cool.
Yes, scenes become much more filled with information than you previously thought. You realize how much.
Was there a character that anyone like y'all gravitated to? Mostly every time they showed up on screen, you were like, "Ooh, yes, this character." I'm kind of like now at the edge of my seat, or now I'm a little bit more invested, or something along those lines.
Viserys, for me personally, I just thought he had the most depth. He dealt with a lot of tragedy from the first episode. And it was a nice touch on Paddy Considine's part after his last episode. He kind of talked about the character a little bit, and how he was like, after his first wife died, he was just kind of a tortured soul. That's why he was kind of like a bad father to Aemond and Aegon, and but also like he didn't like obsess over trying to find a cure for his illness. He kind of accepted it as his penance for the loss of his wife, because he chose to lose her over trying to save a child that was going to be stillborn anyway. And I think that was such like an interesting character throughout his time in the show, just seeing how he kind of unraveled, but at the same time, in all earnestness, tried to be good and tried to keep the world that he was ruling at peace. As naive as it was, I mean, it was a very complex character, and I think Paddy did a great job at it. So
I think so too.
He also just like went out with such panache. It was great. So yeah, that would be my choice for the show.
Nice. I really love, in the book as well, But I really love the Sea Snake. I'm surprised they took him out of commission for the couple of those episodes. I know why they did it, obviously, because they had to do, his brother did this, it should be mine, it should be mine.
Oh, right.
That does happen in the books. It's not his brother. I think it's like his nephew or something. And he has the same complaint, same basic thing happens. But the Sea Snake isn't dead. I think he's just away. So it's not, I didn't know they changed that for the show, but it was fun to see. But I love him and his story and where he's going. And with Rhaenys, who's much more fleshed out in the show than she is in the book. I can't wait to see these two, because they're going to, the plot's going to keep going. They're going to do something again, do this, do that. And I feel like they're setting it up so much better than it was set up in the book for why they do what they do. She clearly has plan X and plan Y, or her emotions are different from in the book. In the book, she's much more gung ho. Like in the last episode, she doesn't kneel and she doesn't bow and she's like hesitant and stuff. In the book, she's like, "Let's go. Where do you want me to go? Let's go kill them. They've got all the so she's just on board." Whereas in the show, she's more standoffish. I like that because of where it's going. It makes a little more sense, I think. Yeah, that's a really good way to write her. So those two, the Sea Snakes, the House of the Sea Snake, I love a lot. I really like Driftmark.
You must be pretty excited because he's getting a spinoff show.
Really? What's going on? Really?
Am I breaking the news to you guys right now?
Break the news, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have it right in front of me. No, I just read that a few days ago where they were saying that they're still actively trying to work on a spinoff for him.
Whoa. That's incredible.
Yeah. It might have been George R.R. Martin who said it, so fingers
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, but
in 20 years, maybe.
I was surprised because I was like, okay, well, we're already on a prequel, and it's like now the prequel character is going to get a spinoff, and it's like, okay, it's going to get a little exhausting. That's how I reacted to the news when I first read it. But I do agree. Like, he is a very interesting character. I just don't know if I necessarily need to see his own show. But I didn't think I needed to see House of Dragon to begin with. But here we are.
And I'm of the opinion that they could do the whole freaking Fire and Blood, just have a show after show after show until we get to, and it would be incredible. That's what I think. I would sit there through all these shows. I would watch them all. Just get me as much as they give me, I'll take. So there's no fatigue for me. I don't think there ever will be. But I don't know. Luis, Miguel, what characters you like?
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm pretty basic. Like I said, very loosely grasping the story, apparently. No, I think Damon, I came into this kind of expecting, came in expecting to not like him because I didn't really know how I felt about Matt Smith, which I think I've said previously. And he is just so good. This is really like my first introduction to like Matt Smith, like, doing his thing, I guess. And the way he plays this character, we were talking about, like you were saying, I think Louis, just like, what characters do you just gravitate to when they're on screen? Like, he was definitely one of them. Like, okay, what is he doing back there sitting all quietly, you know what I mean? And Rhaenyra, the queen.
Yeah.
Obviously. I'm team Rhaenyra.
Black.
You know what I mean? Yeah, team Black.
Welcome aboard.
I think she does a phenomenal job. What's her name? Something Darcy. Emma Darcy?
Emma Darcy, yeah.
Oh, well. Darcy, yes.
That's a little apostrophe between the D and the A. It's D. But yeah.
No, she does a phenomenal job. I think both of them are so. When you get past, like, kind of like Cersei and Jaime, when you get past, like, the gross incest, you're just like, okay, whatever. You're cool as shit. Go ahead, do whatever you want to do. All right.
Well, Damon's just so like confident and so knows what he is and knows what he wants, and that's what like gravitate. That's why everybody likes him, because he doesn't give a shit, and he like does what he wants, and he and you know what? Also, he's kind of loyal to his brother, pretty much too. He's like, all these people are feeding off of you, and they're just trying to jump at you at any moment. You need to realize that you're a good person, but you're a terrible king, and you need me here to protect you. But Damon's got his own set of issues that he's dealing with, you know what I mean? His own insecurities, which clouds him and makes him act out. But he's a good guy. He deep down, he's like, in the yin, the yang, like he's got that, he's black in the outside, but a white soul on the inside. I see it. He's just...
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you guys, because I thought about this, which is not in the book, but when he chokes Rhaenyra, he put his hands on her throat.
Yeah.
Ooh, and to me, that was a misreading of his character. I found that to be the wrong way to write Damon, because if one thing that's that's like an iron line, like you just said, Louis, was he won't harm his family. He won't touch him. In my eyes, Viserys just abuses him, just treats him bad all the time. He just expects him to fail, just doesn't have any respect for him. And everyone who was watching in the beginning was like, oh, Daemon's going to be a problem. He's going to kill his brother. There's a line in the first episode where they're sitting around in the small council and Daemon's listening through like the door.
Yes.
And they're saying, oh, he'll kill you and take your throne or something. And they're like, and his brother says he doesn't have those ambitions. And Daemon kind of laughs. And I felt like there were two ways to read that. One way being, I think the wrong way being that, yeah, he would take the throne. The other way, the way I think it is, him laughing, going, "Of course I would." Like he would never kill his brother. He would never put hands on his niece. This is nonsense. This is his iron line. He won't cross.
Why did he do that again? I forgot about that moment, but you're right. That was such a crazy moment. What triggered that to happen?
She's like starting to make a decision that he deems is like his brother would have done. You know what I mean? Like she's being too soft on something,
because she's trying to hold the peace. Like she doesn't want to just like burn everything down, and her, like, in that moment her reasoning is just like, because my dad told me about the song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. She's talking about the prophecy.
She's talking about the prophecy, which he did not know about. And also, he always took Viserys as the myth and the legends fool, you know, who was more involved in history and not like present. But like Daemon is also kind of like a warmonger in that sense.
Yeah,
you know, to an extent, he's always gone like he chooses violence over most other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it could be a way. I mean, look. I mean, death can really trigger people in very difficult ways, and maybe you know his brother did die, and the fact that he was left out of knowing this thing that he felt like very close to his brother.
They lost another kid too in that episode.
Right? Oh,
true.
Yeah. So you know he acting out like that because he didn't. I don't know.
He does lash out. He is
that's for sure.
Like. He's drawn his sword against Otto twice. He killed Corlys's...
Otto's fine. He can do that. That's fine.
Yeah, he killed Corlys's...
That's okay, too.
And technically his brother-in-law or uncle-in-law or whatever. But yeah, I mean, and rightly so.
That's a good point.
And then he beat that one messenger.
That's right. See, he does lash out.
To be fair... I understand that. I'm talking about the blood of the dragon.
Sure.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the blood of the dragon. That's what I mean. To injure the blood of the dragon goes against everything he believes in and feels. To him, they truly are gods. They are sacred gods. And to Rhaenyra, no, we're just people who they think were gods. They're much more humble than him. To him, he tells that in the first episode to his brother on the throne. He says, "You're the blood of the dragon. Like you can do whatever you want." To him, we can hurt all these people, but we can't hurt each other. That's a line he can't cross. Like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to hurt my niece. I don't know. Maybe they're doing that because he's going to get more violent. I don't know. I just felt that was that was a cheap move because he doesn't attack anyone else that episode. He doesn't get mad and hit a messenger. He doesn't get mad and hit someone else. He gets mad and hits his wife. It's weird to me that I didn't appreciate that. I felt that was a misreading of his character. I could be wrong. I don't know. But to me, that felt the opposite because. Like you're saying, Louis, there's a white soul in the middle there, but everything else is dark. Everything else outside of it, and he's
lashing out to circumstances. And he acts out a lot. You know, it's he's an interesting character for sure. I mean, Daemon, Rhaenyra. Obviously, I love the pairing of the two. And to go with Ed, I mean, I love Viserys. I think the man is like.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's awesome, but it's kind of a tragic story because he is so wrapped up in illusions the whole time. Like he won't admit that they're strong kids. He won't admit that they're not at war. He won't admit. He won't admit. You know, it's going to be a boy. It's going to be a boy. I can tell it's going to be a boy. It's going to happen. And he's so focused on myth. And he's so focused on history. And he has these all ideas that he's going to be as a king. And it's just like, it doesn't happen. And then it's depressing. And I talked about it in this one episode, but he has that moment where he's like, what did I do with my life? You know, am I gonna good fortune rarely makes a good song, you know? And he's like, you know, I should have been tested more. I should have gone through the fire. But he's known as like someone who kind of kept the peace.
Viserys the peaceful. But you know, that's like a double-sided sword where it's like, yeah, it was peaceful, but I didn't really do anything, and he feels like he hasn't done enough. And I don't know, that whole concept maybe hits a little too home for me too. I'm just like, oh, me too, Viserys. I understand. You know, like I understand these, like, you know, what you're going through. But I also love his fiercely loyalty to Rhaenyra. You know what I mean? Yes.
Every time people challenge it, he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean I'm going to give it to my son? You know, like when the Lannister was like, oh, she can be with me. And, you know, now that you have a son, like, wait, what? When is that happening? No, Rhaenyra's going to be queen. He does have like one moment where he like falters and feels bad like about it. But for the most part, I love how ferociously loyal he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so even though he does have these illusions and like false things, he is still like, you know, a fiercely loyal person.
He is.
You know, yeah, I mean, it's he did a great performance too. Yeah, that's what I would say about him. What else do we have here? We talked about what we didn't like. Oh, are there any more questions y'all have for Steven since we have him here? There's questions for Steven.
I feel like I asked most of mine in context.
I feel like there's a lot less needed too, because like that when the last 5 episodes moved so fast, they hit plot points as opposed to character development. I feel like it's pretty straightforward with you know, these last 5 episodes, whereas the first 5 were a little murkier. Nothing was really happening. They were just sort of hanging out.
And we were just where's this going, Stephen?
Yeah. Whereas this, I think we all know exactly where this is going.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
I don't know what they're going to do. Go ahead, Lee.
No, yeah, go. I think you're about to answer my question.
I doubt it, because I think I'm going to go someplace weirder.
Oh, okay.
But in the book, Luke dies, and they're going page by page by page. So Luke dies, and then like on the next page is like there's like an unforgivable sin. It's going to get weirder and grosser and wrong. You know, it's going to become a bloodbath. I used that term last time because I believe that it's going to become a bloodbath. So it's going to get. And there's characters we haven't met yet. Like, for example, who's going to ride Vermithor? Who's going to ride Sheep Stealer and Cannibal? We haven't even met these people. So it's going to get really weird. We're going to meet some creeps. And on the next, like immediately following Luke's death, the Blacks sort of do their unforgivable sin. So, okay, eye for an eye. How about a son for a son? Like they're about to get real messed up. But I don't think they're going to do that in season 2, episode 1. So what are they going to do? Are they going to push that down the line and then fill in, go slow again? Are we going to have another pacing issue?
They're going to go fast. That they made us. They made a promise for a faster pace in season 2 because it will be well earned. Is the quote that they were saying.
We're going to get to the bloodbath then, because we're going to have, there's this event. Then last time I was on the show, I tried to go slow and not give too much away. Now I'm afraid if I don't say it, it'll all be done by the next episode.
It'll just fly by.
Yeah, it'll just fly by. I'm like, crap, I didn't even say anything.
Steven, why did you bring that shit up, man? Yeah. It's like the hottest thing of the story. No.
You're right. But there's an event called the Sowing of the Seeds. It doesn't make any sense without context, but the Sowing of the Seeds occurs, and it's a lot of fun. It's going to be but it sets up so many more problems, the Sowing of the Seeds. And I feel like they're going to jump right into it. Are we just going to start off season 2 with chaos? I mean, we're not going to slow into it, or maybe, I don't know. I mean, they have to just jump into that. Luke is dead. That's the first thing on everyone's mind. All Team Black is pissed. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to jump. We're just going to run with that anger.
Is Rhaenyra, now Rhaenyra was like super, like, we're not going into war. We have this whole strategy about like, kind of like, closing off.
Get our allies first.
Yeah, get all the allies. We're going to stop all importing, so we kind of like suffocate them a bit. Like that was their plan, and then they would kind of like scalpel their way in. And she was like adamant about this. Like, I don't want to rule over Ash and all this stuff. Are you think that's like? It sounds like after this conversation, she's like, "Fuck that, destroy everyone now," or is she a lot more cool-headed than? Like, that's my question to you. Like, is she more cool-headed, or do you think she's like, is she going to attack? I don't care. Spoilers.
Okay, well, yeah. Just I think she actually does stay cool-headed. The thing she does, and with what I say, like there's another unforgivable crime coming.
Right.
What she does is she sort of turns to Damon and says, "Do it. Like, what should we do?" And he goes, "I want to do this." And she goes, "Go for it." It's not her doing this action. She allows Damon to run wild, and they want to. So does Jace. They want to run wild now, and she sort of says, "Run wild. Like, yeah, if we got to do this thing, go do it." So
You kind of have to.
that's why I said we're gonna start off season 2 with Damon taking control of the military, and him in control of the military is rough. Yeah, it's gonna get weird. Yeah, it gets dark. So it's not necessarily her as it is. She lets her dogs loose. Yeah, she lets them do what they want.
He did on King's Landing, episode 1.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Oh yeah, exactly like that. That's what he's like. Go ahead, keep the peace with limbs and heads. Yeah.
Oh,
That was crazy. Yeah.
okay.
And they still have a kid too. Like we haven't seen because I know that the 5th child died or 6th child died, but Damon and Rhaenyra already had a kid that we haven't seen yet.
They have
right?
2 kids.
They have two.
Two.
They have Viserys and Aegon.
That's right.
Is there another
I think
Aegon?
it's the other way around. It's Aegon, then Viserys.
Yeah, Viserys is the baby.
The name fit for a king.
So, yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Patty. Oh, Patty.
Oh, Patty.
It's all right, Rhaenyra. It's just bolognese.
Yes, I watched Hot Fuzz like 2 days ago too, and I just laughed.
Never forget it. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's going to be. Are those kids going to come into play with the Civil War? Is that they're going to be too young? I guess.
Well, that's why I wonder about this time skip, where not only do they come into play, but absolutely they come into play. I can't wait. This is the reason why I was so excited for the show and was ready for it to be slow is because all these people were overlooking, like, oh, that's just a baby. By the end, it's like, oh my God, that baby is now a grown man who just burned the North. Like, I did not see this coming. Things like that, where I was like, I'll go as slow as you want because his kid is going to be crazy. Go as slow as you want. So yeah, those kids come into play. You're not going to know how. Like, they're not even going to burn anything. I'm trying to lead you away from.
I can't wait to see
they come
Aemon
into play.
versus Damon. I want to see what that face off is going to be like because they teased it a little bit this season. And then he kind of backed down a little bit.
Yeah,
like you said. It's like, okay, I know you're the alpha, but for how long?
How long? Yeah.
Ed, you blew my mind. I completely forgot he was in Hot Fuzz. I just looked him up, and I was like, holy shit, it's that guy?
Yeah.
The Andes.
Wow. Get this guy an Oscar or an Emmy. Come on. The hell? That's crazy. I got to rewatch this movie now.
I think it's like, he's like, you got a mustache. He's like, I know.
Yeah.
He's great. I know.
Everyone and their mums packing around here.
Yeah, which was true at the end. Yeah.
Like who? Farmers? And who else? Farmers' mums.
That was moms. That's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Oh,
absolutely. It's so good. Yeah.
But House of Dragon. Anyway.
House of Dragon, right. We're not talking Hot Fuzz. This is the Hot Fuzz
Steven,
section.
I do have a question for you, and I can't remember if we talked about this last time. Did you watch Rings of Power?
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm like 5 or 6 episodes in Rings of Power. I tend to watch it with my nephews. My nephews will like come over and we'll like binge the show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they haven't been over, so we stopped in like 5. But
okay, well, still, so I felt like when I watched Rings of Power, I felt like after 5 episodes, okay, like I was in it. Okay, how do you feel? Do you feel like House of Dragons or Rings of Power?
Well, I like House of Dragons a little more, but I also don't have I don't. It's easy for me not to compare them because with
they're so different.
With Rings of Power, it's more like happier and that's Tolkien's whole thing is that he's sort of joyful and happy and things don't really go that wrong and I'm okay with that. So like who is it? Oh gosh, who Elrond and his little dwarf friend like
Durin.
Those Durin. Those parts are my favorite just because it's sweet and cute. So. I like that for that, and I like this for this. So I like Rings of Power because it's comforting and
sweet. You get savory.
The Half-Foots or whatever, the Harefoots. I love hanging out with them. I feel like I'm watching a Midsummer Night's Dream or something. I feel like I'm just watching some drama kids. So I just enjoy just watching these like drama kids do their little thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is fun. So it doesn't bother me. And I'm not a big Tolkien guy either, so it's not like it offends me like it's offending some people or really mad about it. I don't care. It's not sacred to me. So, but I like it. I'm enjoying Rings of Power. I look forward to finishing it. Do we
That's
know
good.
if the guy who crash landed is Gandalf? That's Gandalf, right? I don't know.
TBD, man. TBD. You gotta watch the whole
That's what
yeah, you know it. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
You
know Ed?
listen, Ed. Yeah, you watched the show, right?
I did, but wait.
They haven't told us.
It's still a little
It's still debatable.
open. It's still a little open-ended.
I'm just
Okay,
imagining
I just assumed.
that when Steven finishes Rings of Power, Ed and Steven will just have a FaceTime chat for like 3 hours. Now, wait a second. What did Damon do? Well, hang on. Before we get to that, what was going on with the Harfoots?
Hey, they're gonna write a book about it, and it'll be the Song of Rings and Dragons.
Rings and Dragons.
Yeah.
Great. That's what inspired George. He wanted to do a world where Aragorn, like, he has like one fundamental question. He said, what is Aragorn's tax policies and what are the effects therein? And that spawned like the whole world of Ice and Fire, where he just says, so everyone just likes Aragorn. No one's going to stab him in his sleep. No one's going to poison him. No one's going to take his wife. No one? Okay, I got to write that where that happens. So that was like his inspiration.
Wow.
He's like, this is
He
just
likes an elf? Ugh, rabble.
oh, never. Yeah, so he wanted to write an inverse of Tolkien, and I think he did a good job. He just cool. that was his goal, and I like him for that because I couldn't do just Tolkien. Tolkien's great, but I needed it.
No. You need sex and violence and
I need that to roll. Yeah, to mirror history just a little more.
Right.
Yeah, I like that about it. It also helps teach history. I can like bring up clips from like, okay, do you understand the conversation they're having? It's the same conversation Henry VIII had. You can like, these are real conversations.
Hey,
It helps me teach history too. I like it for that because kids don't understand. No one does because kids don't understand like the ruthlessness, like Henry VIII or something. He killed his wives. Why? Well, they couldn't produce a son. So, all right. So let's talk about House of the Dragon. It helps. Like, it helps to understand. That's how history worked. That's just how it worked.
If they didn't understand genetics back then,
You're right. Yeah, they didn't have Punnett squares.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, like, I want to keep talking about House of the Dragon forever, but I think. What, do we have anything else to say to close it out?
We just got to talk about season 2 when it comes out, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
2024. See you then, Steven.
Okay, I have one thing. I want you guys to predict it. I want you guys to say, okay, so I say Luke is dead. Now House Black is going to get revenge.
Yes.
What do you think they're going to do? What do you think Damon is going to say? Is he going to say, let me go kill Otto Hightower? Is he going to say, let's invade King's Landing? Is he going to say, let's burn all the crops? Is he going to say, let's just go for what's Aegon?
I don't think it's anything you just said. Now you got me fucking thinking about it. I'm like, okay. I'm not going to be tricked.
That's right.
Dang. No, I think
Any
kind
guesses?
of like I think like obviously the eye for the eye, like let's go kill one of her kids.
Yeah.
But I just think that's a little too. I think that's too on the
nose.
nose. Yeah, on the eye. And so I don't know. Now thinking about what's the worst thing that could happen beyond that.
It's pretty messed up. That's why I say it's.
And I don't think they're just going to go burn King's Landing because they've already done that with Daenerys. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That's true.
I don't think we're going to see anything like that in the show, or at least not in the. Well, that's what I think. So I don't know.
No, you're right.
It is a tough question. It's like you think they're eye for an eye kill one of their kids, but no, that's too on the nose. They're not going to burn it down. They're not going to poison everybody, right? Because we were together for the Red Wedding. Like, we're not going to slit all the dragons' throats, right? Or
you need them.
God, that is a good question.
Well, I'll let you think on it for a year when we hopefully find out in the first episode. But it's coming right away. It has to because it's the next page of the book. What would you do?
What would I do? Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like it has to go either towards Otto, just because Damon really hates Otto, and I feel like subconsciously he feels like, even though like the whole Aemon situation was Aemon's actions, and Aemond is definitely more loyal to his mother than Aegon or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like he might Otto might be his first target. Would be my guess.
But who would you want to get the whole Westeros in line, right? And whose fault was it that this happened? Was it the Baratheons' fault? Maybe that they go out and destroy them and say, "Hey, if you look at what happened here. If you fuck around, that's going to happen to you."
That would make sense
because under your eye and under your protection. My son died. He came to visit you. He died. Burn all of them. You know what I mean? Or some sort of situation. Your daughter's gone. You don't have anybody.
Right.
Which could be why the Baratheons came to take over.
Rebelled.
Yes. The Targaryens. Yes. Boom.
No, dude, that's a good one. That's a good guess.
I love that.
So we'll see. We'll cut to this episode in a year and see what our guess is.
Okay, yeah. It should happen right away. I doubt we speak again before it happens. That's why I want to do it now, because it's got to happen in the first half.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's going to be just weird. Like kid, like you say, like, we kidnap all the Baratheon women and do what with them? Because I'm not comfortable with this. It's going to get weird. So. Okay.
I'm Steven. I'm not going to wait a whole year or a year and a half for you to come back. We're going to find a reason for you to come back again. We love having you.
I love it. Yeah, I would love it. I love being here. You guys are great. The show is great. You know that I'm an avid listener. So
hell yeah,
I'd love to anytime. Anytime. I love it. So thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
it's so
great. All right,
hit us up with your Rings of Power review. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
True.
When you do that, we'll read it out. We'll have like a little section now for Steven's review. You know?
Steven's
thoughts.
Steven's Esca sidebar.
Darn!
I like it.
I never think of that.
Yo, it just came to me. It just let me mark that clip.
I saw it in your eyes. You finding it?
I know. I was like, hang on. I see it. Let me just get there. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right,
dude. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me talk about House of the Dragons. I love it.
Yeah, of course.
All right, and now we're going to dive in what we're into, and let's do that now. Final part of the show, what we are into. Miguel, hit me, baby.
Y'all, it's been a long one. I'm going to be super quick on these. So we were going to talk about some Halloween things, and that is kind of just what I focused my attention on. So a couple of things real quick. We have been watching. You guys fans of American Horror Story?
I used to be.
No.
That's the content people subscribe for. Thank you, guys.
I stopped after Hotel.
What was it? Hotel.
And then
you haven't seen Apocalypse?
Oh, actually, you know what? I saw about 4 episodes of Apocalypse.
Dude, finish that one.
I skipped the one where they did the Blair Witch one in the cabin, or the
Roanoke one.
Roanoke. I missed that one. Yeah,
Luis, when I tell you that Kristen for years was trying to get me to watch American Horror Story, and at the time she was like, if I get you into any season, it'll be this one. It was the Roanoke episode, the season where they did the Blair Witch, and in retrospect, one of the worst ones. But at the same time, like, she was like, you like reality TV? There's like a reality TV concept with it.
Oh, that's smart.
And it kind of brought me into the world, and then I watched. Not all of them, but most of them since then. So
you haven't gone back to see the first one, and then
I haven't.
Started.
So now I know that the first one ties into several different seasons, but no, I haven't finished that one yet. I loved the Witch season. I loved Apocalypse. 1984 was like a delicious little treat.
I didn't see that.
Fucking the last season where they did that double feature, I was a little cold on because I felt like either of them could have been the full season. You know what I mean? So now I am watching, as they air, American Horror Story, the new season, NYC.
Okay, how is it?
I don't know how I feel about this one just yet. I feel like in my
premise?
House
I see a bunch of posters in LA for it, like people in weird positions with spikes.
This one is kind of like the and please correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, listeners. it's like the sex centric one. Like there's like
yeah.
a lot of like bondage themes, and it does touch on like gay and lesbian characters and kind of what it means in this time of like expressing yourself.
Time, or is it what era is it in? What era is it in? Like present day?
Man, I don't think it is, because I'm pretty sure it's kind of like in that like Reagan era type of
okay.
Like late 80s, you know what I mean? Although again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm like stupid drunk when I watch these episodes. I'm into the show. This one I'm kind of getting into. I kind of think maybe after we binge a few episodes in a row, maybe I'll get a little more into it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, so far, Evan Peters hasn't been in it, but the fact that Evan Peters was just Jeffrey Dahmer, it does feel kind of similar in the sense that like, okay, these like gay men are getting attacked and killed. There's a similar vibe with it. So if he shows up in the show, that'll be kind of surprising, because it's so
close to home. Similar.
We just saw that. Yeah. But if he's not, that would be kind of like, okay, all right, we're doing something different. But the thing that I kind of want to talk about the most is Hocus Pocus 2, you guys. I've been holding this one.
Yeah, you got to talk about it.
And I'll be super quick. Have you guys seen this movie?
So I was super excited to see it. No, I was supposed to see it with a friend. We never did. And then time went on, and we never linked up. And now I still haven't seen it. Can you believe it? But such is life. What a shame.
Bro,
tell me about Hocus Pocus.
It's on Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus, baby. You can just watch it.
I have to guess it's not good. Let me just say it's probably not good, right?
Let me tell you this. This is the big discussion I wanted to have about the show. Think about, just in as an example, all the Disney movies that they remade into a live action. Aladdin, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, whatever. And you sit there and you go, it's a shot for shot remake, or who is this for? You know what I mean? Or like, oh, they're just kind of retelling that same story, but just in like in a more modern day sense. You know what I mean? Let me tell you, that's how I expected to come into Hocus Pocus 2, being like, this is dumb. But I walked away going, I loved this movie.
Really?
I definitely have only seen the first one like once. Okay.
What? Really?
And now I know I just said, so let me backtrack just a little bit. What I realized by the end of this movie when I walked away from it was, like I understood the picture of when they talk about like we're remaking Lion King for a younger generation, or those who hadn't seen the first one.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how I felt when I walked away from this one.
They're making this for younger generation.
Were they rehashing beats? Hell yeah, they were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was it like a slightly more modernized version of that exact same story? Hell yeah, it was. But I walked away going, I was surprised at how much I laughed at that movie. Like in the original movie, she like flies on a vacuum at one point. In this one, she flies on a couple of Roombas, and you sit there and you go like, that's dumb as fuck. But I'm cracking up at it because it's hilarious that she's like skateboarding on these Roombas. Is it good? No. But did I have a good time? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me look at these remakes or whatever in a slightly different light. Like I'm always so pessimistic. Why do we need this? Why am I watching this kind of deal? But here I was kind of having a good time, and I was like, you know what? Sometimes people can have a good time, and it doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it was a good time. If you guys haven't seen it yet, and you guys have seen the originals, like give it a shot and shit all over it if you want to. But I had a good time.
Sarah, that's a movie that Sarah's not going to let go, so we are going to watch it eventually.
You haven't seen it? The
second one? I've seen the first one. I've seen the first one, yeah. No, I'm saying like she was looking forward to the second one. Really, she really does want to watch it. I've been resisting, but we will watch it.
It's such a short, it's an easy breezy. You know what I mean? Like you and Ed, if you can sit through a 3-hour long movie without peeing, you know what I mean?
You can watch Hocus Pocus 1 and 2 back to back.
Back to back. And
you don't recommend that though, right? 1 and 2. You can just watch 2 by itself.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the same.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, that's what I've been into, and
Tight.
there you go. There you go.
Ed.
Word. Well, I've been
Word,
doing what I
Ed
do
Bull.
best and just like stacking up movies in my pocket.
I don't know how. Look, one day I
buckle
want to
up.
grow up and be like you, Ed. One day I want to grow up and be like you. What an amazing life you have here. Look at all these.
I want to
wonderful
see how
movies.
fast Ed can get through this. I'm going to start timing right
Oh,
now.
God damn it. All right. So I'm going to knock out one I don't want to talk about real quick. That's The Craft. Sarah and I, going into Halloween, we had this little, we wanted to like trade spooky movies that the other hadn't seen, or that either of us
Spookies.
hadn't seen. Yeah, scary movies. So Sarah, being of the 90s, wanted to watch a 90s movie, and she came up with The Craft. Have you guys watched that one?
No,
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I know the name.
Like the poster, it's like the four witches walking. It's basically just like a high school horror movie meets witchcraft, and it's about as awesome as you could think that is, but it's not.
Sounds kind of awesome, to be honest. I'll watch it.
It's a little rough. There were some like gross, icky things that happened throughout it.
Aw,
What is this? What is happening? I'm not allowed to say it's
That
icky.
was so unnecessary. That was so unnecessary, Louise.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't like
I
it?
love. I'm sorry. Ed. I just saw an opportunity out of day.
Yeah, good opportunity. I'm glad you took it. But yeah, it was okay. And like very, very much of its era, where just like it was cool to be mean. Like there's such, which right, Louise?
You relate?
I'm still in the '90s, baby.
Yeah.
It's got me fucked up. It's got me fucked up, Ed, that you're sitting here throwing Sarah under the bus, being like, she's of the 90s. Bitch, you were born in 89. Like,
No, I know, but like
you.
the 90s
No,
were
you.
her. No, I know, but the 90s were her like high school. That's when she was into these movies. Like, I wouldn't have watched The Craft in the 90s. Like,
Damn.
it was either like too old for me or whatever. Yeah, it was just like very much of its era, like high school politics. Like, there's the the guys are like every guy is basically a rapist.
I mean,
Yeah, that sucks.
That
sucks.
it's just like and all the. I'm not saying like that. That's just like the attitude that everybody has. It's like the guys are super handsy. All the girls are real cunts to one another, and it just like never lets up. And then you throw witchcraft in it, and you've got The Craft. So my trade-in movie for that was Saint Maud, which was a little A24 horror film starring Morfydd Clark of Rings of Power. You guys know? She plays Galadriel. And anyway, this was a very quick movie. I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes. And basically, she's like a home carer for this famous actress whose health is kind of declining, but she's like this ultra religious girl who had like a very dark past and has like convulsions through Christ or whatever. Anyway, very creepy, very shocking ending. So I would like, if you want like a quick, like eerie horror film, give it a watch. Moving on.
You got about 6 more.
I do. So, keeping on the spooky stuff, Sarah and I watched the first episode of Cabinet of Curiosities by Guillermo del Toro. It was good.
Guillermo.
Obviously it's an anthology series. Everything, each episode is like a different kind of style of horror, maybe, I guess. But it was good. This one had Tim Blake Nelson. He is the Smart Hulk, but the bad guy from Incredible Hulk. What's his name? What's that character called?
Oh, wait. Yeah. I don't know his name.
the leader or something like that. I don't know, but he's coming back. He's coming back to the MCU. Anyway,
Yes.
all that to say, he's like the main focus on this. And I won't go into the details about the story, but it was well crafted, very much like Guillermo del Toro style, like monster style, practical effects and everything. It looked good, and so it's piqued my curiosity. So I'm going to keep going on with that. And then I have a trio of movies that we've been talking about or have talked about previously through trailers and festivals and stuff. I'm going to start with the one I watched last night, which was All Quiet on the Western Front, which you can watch on Netflix now.
Did you like it?
I did like it. It's a rare. So you have a choice to watch a dubbed version or the German version. We watched it in the German with the subtitles because you know me. And yeah, it was very good. It's very intense. They use kind of like an electrical soundtrack to it, so it's like very like jarring from the first frame. It's just like loud, blaring music, and like not like orchestral. It's just like and it really sets the tone for it. The trench warfare is really well done. There are some moments where I felt like it was let down by budget or CGI.
Right.
Like sometimes it felt like a I don't know, like a TV film. But overall, it was very good, very endearing. Like the shift from these like bright-eyed schoolboys who want to go off and fight for their country, like the switch is so dramatic, but it's really well done. I felt at times like it was a little tad long, which is a lot for me. I've never read the book All Quiet on the Western Front. Have either of you by any chance?
Nope.
No.
One thing I'm curious about is like going back and reading that book and seeing how it compares to the movie, because I know they changed some things, but the overall essence of the book is still there because it's like an anti-war commentary from that time. But overall, really well done, and I would definitely recommend it. And like I said, it's on Netflix, so you can watch it.
When we saw the trailer, I was going to say, because the only thing I could say about it is I really like the color grading of it, or just like the color of it.
And I know I was just saying you can watch it at home. Whilst I was watching it last night, I really wish I had watched it on my projector. I went to a friend's house to watch it. Like a war film on a big scope, big landscapes, big action, like I wanted to be immersed with it, and I wasn't, and I found that distracting in a way. And I wanted to be completely immersed in it, and I think the movie suffered a little bit because of that. It didn't hit me emotionally as hard as maybe I wanted to, and if I had been like completely in a dark room, like big screen, like it may have been, I don't know, but it's a good movie, very very effective in what it's telling. So the other two, back to back, Triangle of Sadness, which I mentioned earlier in another podcast, and Tar, which we have talked about frequently of late, and we did a little Cate Blanchett, not rating, but whatever. We all talked about our favorite roles of hers, and this one is definitely up there. This is kind of like sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, how did they pronounce her name in the movie? Was it Tar?
Tar, yeah.
Okay.
Lydia Tar is her name. She is like an American. She lives in Germany.
Well, what are those accents for? That's what I mean. Like, it was unnecessary to have those accents if her name is Tar.
So I don't want to say, because I think it could be a little bit of a spoiler. Okay. As far as like her characters involved, it's very much like a character study, and it's almost like it's very slow paced, but at the same time, there's a lot going on. Like, it builds, but what it's building is just like the character of this woman. And what it slowly does is builds and builds, and you come to know who she is, and then you come to know who she really is. And I really don't want to give too much away, because I felt like the more that the movie revealed, the more enticing it became, and the more you like really enjoyed. And it's one of those movies that after you finished it, the next day you're still thinking about it, and you're thinking about like, oh shit, this happened way back then. It is a long movie, but I was like completely immersed. And of course, Cate Blanchett is phenomenal. And she probably is the one to beat at the Oscars this year. But there's a good surrounding cast with her too, which I don't have the names in front of me, but overall it's very good, but it's all on her. And I don't want to give anything away about her character, because it's so complex. And it builds over time. It's like, you could just say it's like cut and dry. She's like an awful person in the music world. It's not like that, but it kind of deals with power and how we use our power and fame and stuff like that. And but overall, it's just like a really good character study that like comes across as a little pretentious at first. Like, I went to go see it with our friend Josh, and he was just like, man, what they were talking about in the first 5 minutes, I had no clue what they were talking about, because it's obviously centered around the classical musical world, or music world, sorry. And she's a conductor for the German orchestra. And yeah, but through that, it's like a very just kind of like everyday story, but it just so happens to take place in that world.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's very entertaining. Yeah, if you go to see it for Cate Blanchett, you will not leave disappointed. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about Triangle of Sadness, which I mentioned a few months ago. It was the Palme d'Or winner at Cannes this year, and from the trailer, it looked like a wild movie, and let me tell you, this is a fucking wild movie. Like, second to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Obviously in a very different way, but it basically a very, very dark comedy on the wealthy, I guess. It's just like a very harsh criticism, and I don't know, it's just a wild movie, and the less you know going into it, the better. But I thought going into it too that it was going to be kind of like a foreign movie with occasional English speaking moments, but it was actually a majority spoken in English. So if that is any help at all, but it was
probably mocking us.
Super funny. Just wild. Like it's in 3 very distinct chapters. You're basically following the story of these 2 influencers who are like influencers who are like models. The lead actress was she's from South Africa, but like this movie would have made her, but she died actually this summer after the movie premiered at Cannes, and I'm so sorry I don't have her name in front of me. But yeah, she had septicemia apparently, and that clashed with a previous sickness that she had. Sorry, Chelby Dean Creek. Sorry.
R.I.P. man.
Yeah,
that was not. I'm sorry, that's not where I thought you were going to go with that conversation.
No. Well, no, and it struck me whilst I was watching the movie. I was
damn.
I was like, which one of these people? And became apparent that it was her. She is like, I mean, first off, gorgeous, but she was like very good in this film. So,
dang,
to have come out of Cannes as a Palme d'Or winner, and then man, so that was sad. But she's really good in it, and so we follow these 2. They, because of their like influencer life, they win tickets onto this luxury yacht and they're surrounded by like the extremely wealthy people, and just seeing their interactions with the the staff on the ship. It's really funny, and like if you like the twistedness of Succession and the White Lotus, like you're gonna like the show. I haven't seen the White Lotus, but I can get from the context of what it's about.
That was one of the first things I was going to ask was have you been watching White Lotus? So
I have not yet. And then Woody Harrelson shows up as the yacht's captain, and he steals the movie. He's really good in it.
Good.
Yeah, so overall, I think this is going to definitely be divisive. For some people, I'm sure it's like very on the nose, but I think that's the point of the social commentary that it's making. But it's very entertaining. It was very funny. The peak climactic scene happens on the yacht during a storm, and if you've watched the trailers, you'll know what that leads to. But it's not also for the faint of heart. Like if you do not like seeing people throw up a lot, there's a lot of vomit in this movie. There's a lot of diarrhea, and those two coincide at the same time sometimes on screen. So it doesn't hold back, but it's very funny and worth a watch if you can stomach that. And that's it. That's all I got. Miguel, how was that? It was despite the technical issues.
17 minutes. Okay, we're good. We did good. We did a lot better than I thought.
That's a little rough. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's okay. I knew immediately it was going to be a long episode.
Well, we do it with love.
But I'm sorry, but just like a quick 5 seconds, like you should totally watch season 1 of White Lotus and start watching season 2 because that's where we're at right now. Okay,
that's crazy. They went for limited series. Right? They went for limited series and then they came back for another season. Can they do that?
Yo, they're bringing Jennifer Coolidge is like the through line.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay, I kind of see how they're doing it. So
I was really interested in the second season purely because F. Murray Abraham is in it.
Oh. Well, you probably do not have to watch the first season to watch the second season. Very quick story, just very briefly. When we started watching the second season, episode 1, we clicked play and it started showing us the recap. And I was like, wow, they're really showing us a lot of season 1. I didn't think it was going to tie in. I thought it was going to be more of an anthology, but they're really like pointing to a lot of like key moments in season 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I realized we were actually on season 1, episode 3, and we were watching the recap of that season. But no, it is an anthology, and you could probably jump in right away. So if you want to watch season 2, do it.
Wow.
And that's all.
Aubrey Plaza, who is in the new season,
she's good.
She just got cast in Agatha's Coven for Marvel.
As the bad guy.
Is she the bad guy?
That's what I read.
Isn't Agatha the bad guy?
No,
she can't be the bad guy because she's the
in her own short.
She played the villain in Legion on FX. She was great as the villain.
Oh,
yeah.
Aubrey Plaza. And especially in season 2, we've only watched the first episode so far of White Lotus, but she definitely fits a vibe. So watch it.
Well, I guess it's my turn to take the torch. Okay,
the torch, the saddle.
I've jumped on this thing called Marvel Snap.
What is that?
Marvel Snap. It came out like 2 weeks ago. It's been in beta for a little bit. I haven't been able to do anything else. This has sucked my life. Hours and hours. I should be like, I should finish The Last of Us. I should watch this movie. No, I'm playing this game until too late in the night. Marvel Snap is a kind of like mobile TCG game, like a card game on your phone. But the game is like super. What?
What's TCG? Say that.
Like a trading card game.
Got it.
But obviously you're not trading cards because it's all digital here. But it's like, like
TCG,
a card.
got it.
It's like a card game. So it's a fast-paced card game, and it has Marvel characters, and each round is like 6 rounds. They last like 5 minutes. And typically, like in a card game, you kind of have like one card versus one card. You know what I mean? Battle it out. Round on one. Here, there's like, you get 12 cards, 6 rounds, 3 locations, and you have to like dominate each location. It's really fun. I don't know what to say. Just if you're curious about like wasting your time, just real quick while you're waiting for like I don't know, someone to pick you up, or if you're going to the bathroom and you just need 5 minutes to waste and not be on social media. Marvel Snap is a super fun, like fast-paced card game. A lot of people at work are playing it. I'm just like spending hours playing this game, and I don't know what to say. It's just really fun. I really like have a problem, so I need to like stop and do work and watch shows and movies and finish Last of Us because I'm not doing anything else.
Play with yourself in these? Do you collect the cards, or how's your masturbation life? Is what I'm really asking. But no, I mean, like, how
John.
do you with these cards? Can you only play with other people, or
yeah?
like,
So you play online. You know, you connect with basically. You start off with like a basic set of cards, and then as you play more, you have the ability to get more cards as you go on. And when you get more cards, you start facing people with the same amount of cards. You know, so they're kind of categorized like pool 1, pool 2. And if you're in the same level and same card amount, then you'll be matched up with people in that same thing. So at the beginning, you're like, ooh, I can cleverly get around this. And then the cards start getting a little bit more difficult. So you have to find clever ways to win. You know, sometimes you have to like boost your cards. Sometimes you have to destroy your cards to get them higher. It's like it's a whole like strategy. And also like each location that you place cards at have different ability and effects. So if I put a card down, it's like everyone gets 3 free cards, or like you get negative points in this area, or you know, you can make different copies of your card here. And so each game is like kind of a new situation. And you have like, you know, these like Marvel characters that you get to play out. And then like the sound design is really great. The whole like flow of it is really addicting. You know what I mean? The visuals, I don't know. They just do a really good job, and it's really fun.
Like sound design wise, like do you feel like you know when you play those card games on a PC and it goes like is that what you're talking about?
No,
you know what I mean?
Well, so when you hold onto a card and you put him like say I grab Ant-Man, if I'm moving him around, it'll make the Ant-Man sound like okay. And then if I'm like grabbing Quicksilver, it'll be like whew, whew, whew. And so it'll have these like specific attributes to each card as you move them. But even like when you win or when you do certain movements, it's like it's really well designed. It's like musically well designed, you know.
Marvel Snap.
Yeah. If you just want like a quick mobile game, like a little card game, literally like in 5 minutes, 4 minutes, you can get through a round.
Okay. I just want to say I'm kind of blown away that we're talking about a Marvel. What? Say it again. TCG.
Yeah, it's like trading card game.
Luis, I kind of in Ed's vein, I kind of want to see a Luis ranking of mobile app games. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't look. This is the first time I'm taking mobile gaming seriously. This thing is like you can also play it on your computer too. I know PC, and if you have Mac laptops that have M1s and M2s, you can do it. It's a fast-paced card battle game, so I guess it's not really a TCG because you can't like trade the cards. But yeah, it's really great. I don't know what to say.
Did I tell you guys that Sarah gave me Hook trading cards for my birthday?
No.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Cool. You got a live action TCG, a LA TCG.
Well, yeah. I don't play with them, but I just look at them.
But you play with yourself.
Yeah, I play with myself. Lefty or righty, Luis?
You got to switch it up.
He's like, I'm ambidextrous.
Lord of the Rings. I saw that too. Lord of the Rings 1 and 2. I had a friend who said, "Hey,
for the first time."
No. Not for the
first time in a while.
And the first time in a while, and they were like, "Hey, we're watching Two Towers. Do you want to come over? Because I missed when they showed Fellowship of the Ring." I was like, "Oh yeah, let me catch up and watch Fellowship of the Ring." And I said, "Theatrical or extended?" And he said, "Extended." So
yeah.
I saw it and I was like, "My God, it's an hour longer," you know. And so I was scared. But then I realized that the credits are actually like 30 and 40 minutes long, so they just kind of take up all the space. and then I realized, oh, it's just 20 extra minutes. I kind of expect a little bit more from this extended movie. Anyway, these movies definitely need to be this long. Like, I thought
they're good.
The extended edition is the way to go. You know what I mean? It's totally worth it. Don't be scared by like the 4 hours because most of it's a lie. It's like a Disney Plus show where it's like all credits. They literally added 20 minutes of credits just to thank the Lord of the Rings fan club. And so I was like, wild. My God, what is going to happen? I feel like we're almost done. And then it's like, no, we're done. And then I was excited about 30 more minutes of content. It was great.
The only one that stretched my attention was the third one, as far as extended editions go. There were parts in there where I was just like, did we need that?
Okay, I mean, it's interesting.
Could they have cut...
In episode 2, in Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, this guy was like, yeah, they cut this scene. I was like, wait, what? How could you have cut this scene? It was like Gandalf explaining what was happening.
Important shit,
yeah. And so, no, it was good. It was good stuff.
I kind of feel like Lord of the Rings is like a really solid like fall, either like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, like run of movies. So maybe we do it. Lord of the Rings 1, 2, 3 extended editions.
It's a goodie. You know what? I will say this.
I have been having withdrawals.
I sent a picture of you guys of the map of the land.
Yeah.
Middle Earth. Thank you. So, after watching 2, as it was happening, I was able to walk up and look at the map and see what was happening. And honestly, they needed to do that in the movie. They needed to I had no idea where people were.
That was one of the things problem. Kristen and I were talking about not Rings of Power, House of the Dragon was just like, I missed that like Game of Thrones map where you're like, these are all the places. You know
that is the only thing. Like once I understood geographically what was happening, I was like, oh wow, this means a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, like why they're trying to conquer this, who's next door, where they traveled from the Shire, who are these people. I also I completely forgot Carl Urban was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Look at this. This is so young. But yeah, no, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And Marvel Snap, man. I'm telling you.
Nice.
Download the game. Play the game. It's fun. It's a fun game.
Speaking of extended editions, this episode, you guys, we did it.
We did it. It's extended edition Punch Drunk Nerd. And guess what? For listeners at the end, we finally have a YouTube custom name that we can use.
Yes! Let's fucking go!
It's no longer like youtube.com/CHM258.
What is it?
It's youtube.com/@PunchDrunkNerd.
Nice.
It worked.
/and @. That's a combo you don't see. That's sexy. That's sexy.
Well, it's because YouTube, they emailed me and they said, we're introducing handles.
I saw that.
So whatever your handle is, so people could just @ you right away in social like stuff. We're also going to make that the name of your URL channel.
Let's go.
So I was like, oh, interesting. It is a /@. It is weird.
Elon could never.
But I was like, hell yeah, we had to get 100 subscribers. We had to get 100 subscribers before we could get a custom. And now we just shortcutted. And we finally have YouTube.
But also please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
On YouTube.
Everything. Every social. On podcast. Put those
MySpace.
Please. MySpace. Co-host. Twitter.
Co-host. I couldn't think of the name.
Letterboxd.
Imager. All right, well, that's the episode. I've been Luis Gonzalez. And with
Punch Drunk Nerd, you guys. Miguel Sanchez.
Shuffle my paper. Ed Bull.
Yes, and until next time, later, Gators.
Later, skaters.
Okay. I think that might be our first 3-hour podcast.